Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LCS 2026. That is the LAN Championship Showdown 2026. My name is Nell, and I am joined with DHVF.
Hello, and let me just say we are so excited to be here. Arguably the biggest event of the year is finally here. The lead up has been just insane. 12 separate lands across 2 countries if you're going to count the Canada land, but really just all across North America as a whole. And it's led to this 12 teams duking it out here. And for our first match here on Splatoon 4, we've got a very good one here. It's going to be 7 out of 10, Too Much Ink from Don't Flounder the Function in North Carolina versus Z-tier players from New England in Boston, or I guess Waltham, Massachusetts.
Look at how amazing that graphic is. I love all of the hard work that's been put in from everybody involved, all for this penultimate little event today. So yeah, we're going to be seeing Z-tier players versus 7 out of 10 Too Much Ink. And we are going to be representing the East Coast here. And I mean, I myself am a TO of Anarchy Nova, and DH, you also helped work on Anarchy Nova. So we're very happy to be here in supporting of the lands.
Yeah, no, we got a all Anarchy Nova cast here to start on Splatoon 4. It's going to be great. 2 lands, the East Coast, in particular, we have some common people TOing from Don't Flounder the Function as well. But in any case, we got an interesting matchup here. I mean, if you look at these teams, particularly Z-tier players, they were in the LCS last year, also representing New England. They're a group that has been really tight-knit. If you've been to New England specifically, there's a good chance you've seen them. They've won the last 3, this specific group, and it's a pretty stacked group. You got 49er, one of the more notable Octobrush one-tricks within the comp Splatoon scene as a whole, ran an amazing pencil that I've had the privilege to play against a couple times at various lands. They are the real deal with that pencil. Neptune as well, amazing shot player. You've probably seen them around as well. And Storm of Hypernova fame as well, being a flex player. I'm interested to see what they're going to end up playing for this team here. They kind of play a little bit of everything as you see there, but it's a very stacked team for sure.
For sure. And then on the other side, we do have 7.8 out of 10 Too Much Ink, the winners of Don't Flounder at the Function from Cary, North Carolina. We do see some familiar names here. You probably are familiar with Droids, that's Splat Droid. They are known to be playing a little bit of Blaster and posting a little bit of videos, so they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Fox is another Blaster player. We're seeing a lot of Blaster representation on this team here, and if you know anything about the current meta, Blaster is a formidable foe. And you see JLo, which I am very excited about because it seems like they happen to be a mini Splatling one-trick, so I am ecstatic to see what they are going to pull out today. And then, of course, Chai on kind of the flex paint support, and then Gray on the dualies, just being a slayer, and I'm really excited to see how these two teams duke it out. I mean, like you said, both teams are, very formidable, and I'm familiar with a good amount of the people here. So we're just going to get straight into it. Well, maybe not really, because we seem to be missing one person. So.
Yep, 7.8 out of 10 is missing their 4th. We will see if we can correct that for the next time we're here. But among what we can see, we do see a couple interesting things. We see a double shooter comp coming from Z2 with that Neo Splash and that shot. And I don't know, I mean, I think if you add in the Octoburst and we saw 49er, it's a very short range comp. I think that, there's going to be a lot put on Ren, that pen player, as like the longest range weapon by far. I think if they go down, that could be a way for 7 out of 10 Too Much Ink to kind of exploit that matchup in a way. And knowing that they are the lowest seed here in this entire tournament, they have firmly want to put Z-tier players on upset watch. They want to see if they can get an early shocker here in this tournament, and that is going to be the way to do it. Just exploit, the range matchup, especially if they have a couple mid lines mixed in there.
For sure. And then on the other hand, I wasn't sure if this was a meme pick or not, but I did see the Dynamo Roller from Droid there. That is definitely a formidable weapon on this map in particular, just because of the amount of ink that it can just fling in an open area. And it does provide a good amount of range. However, I mean, sometimes Charger players will chew you up and eat you out and eat you for breakfast, but we'll see what's going to happen with that. I'm not too sure if they're going to be changing the comps a little bit. I don't think they can. I'm not too sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, in any case, I think looking at 7 out of 10 Too Much Ink, they didn't even win Don't Flounder the Function. They got the ticket from that land because the team that did win was not able to make it. But I think the fact that, that they're here, they are firmly, I think, one of the biggest underdog stories in this tournament. We'll see if they can make it out of this round. If they do, I think that will come as a surprise, especially for a team that is so established and has played a lot together with Z-tier players. But, I mean, like, it's an interesting tournament. I think it's a tournament where I think, like, you're mixing a lot of different skill levels together. I think anything can happen, honestly. So I would not be surprised if we see a good set, despite the disparity in the seeds, disparity in, like, the experience that you know and love from Z-tier players versus the relative newcomers from 7.9 out of 10. But we're going to get into it for real this time.
Yeah, we are going to be getting into Splatstones on Barnacle in Dime. We are seeing the classic Ink Brush. I believe 49er is known to be playing the Ink Brush, and we are seeing the only backline on the team for 7.9 out of 10 Too Much Ink is going to be that Dynamo Roller. They are going to be the tactical supply of the team. They do not have any deficit of paint, what can I say? A lot of blue paint on the map. We are to be expecting that. Typical zone neutral. They are going to be in control of the zone, and the junior already has a bubble ready for their team to stabilize, but C-tier players is going to be strong and try to contest the zone the best they can.
Yeah, good amount of pain on both sides. You look at the double shooters from C-tier players, you look at the mini spell lane Coolies and junior from 7.9 out of 10. It's going to be a one where they got to really look at the zone. It can flip in an instant, and that's exactly what happens here. Z-tier players, they control the zone, gets a nice 2 down, moving towards the stack at 7.9 out of 10. You're going to see that splash here, choosing to just throw around the stack. It's a very pivotal part of this map here. It's going to be one of 7.9 out of 10 needs to retake quickly if they want to get back in the zone. The bubble is going to come out as well as the Ultra Stamp to at least stop the zone from counting down here. And it's going to be a full gap as well.
I don't know if you saw, but there was a pivotal flick from that Stamp player. They flicked the hammer all the way to get a kill, and it was a fantastic showing. We are going to be seeing the Crab from the side of the Z-tier players really just kind of take charge of the zone and just take charge of that stack as well. And they are wasting no time painting up and pushing forward into the top left area, just really giving 7.8 out of 10 no room to breathe. Because, as you know, on this map, it can be very lockout heavy.
Yeah, that's exactly what 7.9 out of 10 is facing now again. Either penalty here. You're going to see a Crab hop on that top left. They're going to drop down, trying to contest the stack. That's coming from low down. It's going to be tough. Zord and Gray there. Now moving forward, trying to test it, but Z-tier players has their own Crab out there ready here. It's going to take out a player on 7.9 out of 10. They have an ultra stamp and not much support to do. Here comes the stamp. It's going to weaken one. And it's going to be a cap by 7.9 out of 10 to next week. It looks like a real dotting and punch that retake. They managed to get in here and re-penalty back on the Z-tier players.
Ren is doing a fantastic job cleaning up the zone and really helping their team stabilize here. Able to get some picks on the enemy team and really just hold the zone. We are going to have to back up just a little bit and respect that hammer just in case something were to happen. But I mean, with the range that Pencil has, I wouldn't be too scared about that. However, 2 are down from the side of Z-tier players, so we are going to have to back out just a little bit and really just get our bearings, get our feet on the ground. But this is 7.9 out of 10's opportunity to really put some points on the board and show that they do belong here.
Absolutely. I think they're coming now. Still gives it a very good lead. Z-tier players just beat down the box up, and here comes those Goonies, finding 2, forcing a 3 down on the Z-tier players. Just Neptune on that splash. They're going to have to back up all the way behind Snipe just to regroup here. 7 out of 10. He's hurtling towards that regroup with that Crab left on Neptune. It's taken out by the Stamp and the Dynamo in the lead as well. That's a lead flip. On the Dynamo just locking things down. The Super's gonna come out, but Z-tier players have gotta move fast. Their time is running out, and they're not gonna make it there. That is 1 game down and an upset already from 7.9 out of 10 as they, somewhat shockingly, I'd say, take game 1.
Fantastic showing from 7.8 out of 10. I really enjoyed their patience, and honestly, it took a lot to do a retake there, but I really loved seeing their retake. Once they got a few players down, the Pencil just had no choice but to back up. Ren had no choice but to back up and be displaced, and that's exactly what you want when you have a very oppressive Pencil on the other side of the team. So, I mean, like you said, this is an upset, but it is best of 5 here. So, I mean, anything can happen. We are going to be moving forward to Tower Inkblot.
Yeah, I think it's if anything, it would be a good wake-up call for Z-tier players. They might have been coming in this thinking like, all right, we're playing the lowest seed, you know, we just gotta advance. You gotta think about the team from Gator LAN that we're playing next. But no, 7 point out of 10, too much ink, proving that they deserve to belong here just as much as anyone else. They take game 1, and it looked a bit shoddy for them at times. They did have some trouble getting in on a map that's as retake, like as unfavorable for retake as Barnacle Zones can be. But they got it, and once they got there, they did not relinquish it. I look at Droid on that Dynamo. It's just a nightmare matchup for both those short-range shooters that you saw from Z-tier players, and they were really able to take advantage of it. They got the nice kill, the Crab at the end. They were locking down that right side alley really nicely, and I think if you're looking at these two teams just from a completely neutral standpoint, just looking at the weapons, I think that 7 point out of 10 too much ink does have the comp that counters Z-tier players' comp. I think it's short range, it has the usage, and it puts a lot on Ren on that pencil. So we'll see if they can continue to exploit that on Inkblot Tower. I think for Inkblot Tower, it's a very neutral map. It's a map that we've seen time and time again since Splatoon 2 for going back then. And I don't know, like, I think it's one that I don't think favors either comp one way or the other too much, but we'll have to see. I mean, I think if you're 7 point out of 10, you're going to like what you saw based on that game 1 for sure.
I mean, I definitely foresee Ren being an oppressive force here on the pencil, just kind of sitting on tower if they have the opportunity to. But also, we're going to be seeing a lot of crabs. We're going to be seeing a lot of blasters. Like I just said, we do see a blaster, and I stand corrected. We are not going with pencil. We're actually going with heavy edit. And if you know me, you know that I love a good heavy edit. I'm kind of curious as to that decision. I feel like they really wanted the forward pressure because, I mean, pencil is very good at stabilizing. However, it's not very good at being an oppressive force to push up with the team, so I really like that switch here.
Yeah, no, I mean, heavy edit, like, it is into a short range jump itself, essentially out of running, but it's still not quite a backline. It's more a backline threat, and it's going to make that range matchup a little bit worse for future players, but we'll see if they can make the most out of it. Here's J-Lo using that stamp on the new spot, including some value, but not quite as much. They're going to get a nice pick on 49, trying to catch them off guard. Did not work for them. 7 out of 10, leaving this tower, they got a bubble up and looking to pass this first checkpoint.
If they're able to get past this checkpoint, it'll be fantastic for them as they get through it. And we are able to get through the first checkpoint. Really good showing from 7.8 out of 10. And the tower is continuing to move. It just seems like we're not really equipped to do anything to stop this tower here. This tower is going to stall just a tiny bit. We are going to be trying to get through the last checkpoint, but 3 are going down for 7.8 out of 10, too much ink. And that push is inherently over. We do see some cleanup going on. Everybody's getting the tacticooler. We're getting some paint on the ground. We want more orange. That's what they want. And the Zipcaster is out from the brush here, just trying to apply some pressure to distraction, saying, look at me, don't look at the tower, so that maybe we can get the checkpoint, but it's snuffed out quite quickly.
Keep it on Gray on those dualies, preventing that first checkpoint from going down. They got a nice kill on Calvin, able to survive on that far right pit as well. You see that Scotland go down as well as Gray going down. It looks like Z-tier players is going to clear that first checkpoint, but on this map, it's all about that second checkpoint. And Z-tier players might have a way through with those strikes out. The zips out as well. 49er trying to deep seep into those bats, trying to find a kill on China Judah, and they get it. That's another stagger on the side of the players. But taking Z-tier players, they're going to pass that second checkpoint with ease.
Fantastic AoE from that Zipcaster there. I love seeing that, and the tower is going uncontested all the way down to 30. We are still moving, however, but with everybody respawning, it's going to be 2 down on both sides. We really just want to keep the pressure up. I know that they're hungry for the win, but at the same time, it's tower control. You kind of have to play a little bit patient. Neptune coming in with the flank, really trying to clear out the tower here. Only 1 is up from the side of Too Much Ink. Neptune is going to try and confirm this win here with the strikes, but they are going to have to hop off just for a second. They're just playing a little tag with the tower here, but I mean, they don't really have much time left in this push. There's 2 up right now, and 7.8 out of 10 is fresh and ready, and specials are ready to go.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit scary for 7 out of 10 with the strikes coming out. It looked like that Z-tier player was able to get the knockout, but they forced 3 down. They forced that last blaster storm there back to plat. And they have a chance to come back. It's a long way up. Again, that second checkpoint is going to be pivotal. If they can get past that, they might have a shot. But Z-tier players have played good defense so far. We're going to see Gray try and change that, but they're going to get shot down just as quickly by Storm. Storm with that blaster. With that AoE, going to make it much harder for 7 out of 10 to get onto that fight, get onto the tagline. So you can capture here.
Storm taking that top right area is just so difficult for 7.8 out of 10 to be able to push through. And we get a double with the splashdown. That's exactly exactly why you just get so with AoE in that choke point, it's just incredibly difficult to push forward. And I will say, Z2 players, they they're kind of just set. They're set. They really just need to push the tower, make sure that 7.8 out of 10 doesn't get through that choke point. They are feeling comfy right now. There is a minute left on the clock, just about. So we're going to be trying to keep the tower in middle, if not push towards their side.
Yeah, Z2 players on a map as stable as this one. If they hold their bats, they hold their flat the entire game, they're going to win this game. Although, keep an eye on 7 out of 10. They have 2 down. They're not quite in bats. It's really just Jalo up there. Joy following a bit behind on the right. But it's a start here. They do have some momentum on flat. They are trying to climb in there. You see Gray there. You see Jalo on the stamp as well. Having to drop back in the to find one behind. I believe it's a delayed wipe on the side of Z2 players. So 7 out of 10, they have momentum. They're going to get this first checkpoint unless Z2 players can actually, they're going to get action. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not too far from the lead. They only need to get right to that third checkpoint to flip this lead. Jalo diving back in the mid. They've been very patient this push, and it's paying off. They're close to that lead. That's 2 more going down on Z2 players, and that's going to be a lead flip there.
Very strong lead flip from the side of Too Much Ink. They showed so much patience and so much effort here, but I feel like Z-tier players, they just kind of crumbled under that pressure. We're stopping the tower at 1, we're getting a wipeout, but there's only 15 seconds left on the clock. This has to be an absolutely flawless push in order for them to get the knockout here. They still have a checkpoint to get through. We are going to be headed into overtime in about 5 seconds here. Strikes are at the ready from Z-tier players, so we do see something in our pocket to really confirm the tower here. 3 specials are on the board for Z-tier players. We really just want to confirm everything here. Strikes were out a little bit early. We're seeing a splashdown. We're seeing a lot.
At the knockout or bust situation for Z-tier players, they still have a long way to go. J-Lo picks up, they're going to dive on the tower, looking for the kill on the tower rider. They can't quite get it, but that's not going to matter. Someone in all of the chaos of that gets on the tower for 7 out of 10, Too Much Ink. And just like that, they are 1 win away from advancing here as the lowest seed in the tournament.
I mean, as the underdogs, a lot of people don't really expect much, but I think they're doing a fantastic job just blowing everybody's expectations out of the water here. Really showing up for Don't Flounder at the function, which is a new LAN as well. Don't Flounder only came about this year, so it is kind of a newer LAN. Be sure to check out Don't Flounder at the function. I'm just a subtle plug. We do love supporting our LANs in this area. We love LANs here. But yeah, I mean, like you said, 7 out of 10, they need to win 1 more, just take it home in a full 3-0 sweep. However, Z-tier players, if they take this back, I mean, they have an uphill battle to go through. They have to win this one and the next one and the one after that. So, I mean, I believe that they can do it. I think they just really need to lock in for Rainmaker Scorch.
Yeah, at this point, it's reverse sweep or bust for Z-tier players. They want to avoid being on the wrong end of an upset. And for Scorch Rain, I do think that this could be a one that, you know, benefits them a bit more just because they have a lot of popping power, you know, with how, even though they have less range with how much short range they have a lot of bombs on that. And if they continue to run Edit, which is another weapon that's great at popping the Rainmaker, I think like they can probably consistently win a good amount of pop points, which is especially important for Scorch Rain, just because it's such a linear map. There isn't really any way to, there aren't really any flank routes. There isn't really any way to go around where Rain is. You just push it up the middle and hope. And I think winning pops is just that much more important in maps like that. So we'll see if they can rebound. I mean, they are a good team. They're familiar with each other. I mean, these players have been playing with each other for a long time for these LANs, for the last LCS too. So we'll see if they can get it together after losing these last 2.
Yeah, for sure. So I think they can definitely lock in and get it. We just really need to be confident in our Rainmaker gameplay. I mean, with Rainmaker, it's really touch and go. We're able to, you know, we can get some squeaky wins if with the flank, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about team coordination. If we're able to get a good push going, the match could go on for maybe 5 seconds, but we'll see how this goes. We are seeing the return of the Dynamo Roller, possibly for that, object damage there, and we are seeing the return of the pencil from Ren, and 49er is continuing to be on that brush.
Yep, it's the same comp for 7.8 out of 10. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even though it's a bit unconventional, with that Dynamo being the longest range weapon on the team, it has gotten results so far. Especially that Dynamo, which is currently just such a matchup nightmare for these shooters, and that brush on the side of Z-tier players here. We're gonna see 49er and Storm moving up the elbow to start. They have Whale and Strikes. They're gonna help get 2 down here. Here comes a stand from JLo there, maybe to counter this push a bit. They're taking their time. They've taken their time a lot in this after game, and it has worked out. Oh, it's not gonna work out this time here. Although, Z-tier players, they do get stopped right from the checkpoint, but they will be able to pop again.
A very cheeky jump out and a very cheeky bomb, able to cancel Z-tier players' push there. However, we are able to get the checkpoint, so I mean, they already have the hard part down. All we need to do is just push that Rainmaker further, but I mean, it is in the hands of Too Much Ink right now. The Rainmaker is going to get canceled. We have 3 up on both sides, just really tussling in mid here. 2 down on the side of Too Much Ink. We are trying to push forward and really carve out a path for our team to go through. The Strikes are going to be coming out. We are going to be painting and just laying a path for the Rainmaker, and we have specials ready, and we're just ready to push here. However, everybody on the other team is full health, so it's going to be a little bit of a tricky push.
Yeah, Z-tier players taking a patient approach, which I think is the right approach on a map like this, where again, there's no flank grab. You just kind of got to send it through that one route on elbow and hope it works out there. You're going to see Gray on those duties dive forward, trying to get a kill on the Rainmaker. It's not going to work out. The teammates are going to clean it up, but the Rainmaker died to something there. I'm not quite sure what it was there. In any case, Z-tier players are going to pop it and try again. The Crab is going to get McGray. That's going to find one. Surviving that bomb, looking for a second behind count mid there. Not going to quite find it. But again, great defense by 7.9 out of 10. That was a push where, you know, Z-tier players, they were taking their time. They were trying to get something better enough, but they could not get past where the industry got checkpoint before. And thus, the Rainmaker goes back to mid.
For sure. The Rainmaker, the carrier, was stuck between a rock and a hard place, let's put it that way. With that little elbow push, it's very difficult and, I mean, quite easy for the defensive to be able to just kind of push people out of the way. It is such an uphill battle. That's why it's so important to already have that checkpoint down, so that they don't have to deal with that. We do see a Crab from Gray trying to push forward and really see if we can get that checkpoint here. Only 2 up from the side of Too Much Ink. However, we do have a Tacticooler available for this push, and they're stuck again in that little corner, about as backed up as they can be. Droid is trying to push forward, but we really just can't. It's just, we're waiting for people to feed into us, and we're playing a slow approach, which is the smart way to do it. The Rainmaker is going to go down, unfortunately, but I mean, it's just a slow, arduous match right now.
For Z-tier players, really for both these teams, for being honest, it's can bend, but don't break. The lead is so tight, it could really flip at any moment. 7.9 out of 10 still needs to get that checkpoint, but once again, you're just going to be a point away from taking lead. It's very tenuous right now, as once again, 7.9 out of 10, they pick up the Rainmaker, and they begin stalling. They begin their siege upon that elbow. The Sharks are going to come out, and they're going to catch Gray right in the corner there. That was a tough spot for them, and Z-tier players are going to be able to capitalize off the 3 down. This could be their chance to move forward. They haven't seen that many counter push opportunities at all so far this game, but 49er leading the charge, grabs a drink, and once you move up with this, they have the Zitcaster. Let's see when they opt to pop it here. Now they have teammates up on this elbow, and once again, Z-tier players, they're going to opt to be patient here. And they do get on a couple kills here. Now the Zitcaster is popped, moving towards that left, trying to get behind, and it's not going to quite work out. Z-tier players, they do get a couple points when the rank gets taken out, but they probably would have wanted to get a bit more there. 56 still not a very safe lead, even though it is a good lead for now.
I completely agree. I do think that they were ready to push, but not at the same time. The Tacticooler came out maybe a little bit too early, and so people were antsy to really use the value before their drinks ran out. So, I mean, they did get a few points on the board. Oh, a beautiful pick from Storm here. Only 1 up from the side of Too Much Ink. And, I mean, they're on the back foot. If they really want to just close this set out right now, they're going to have to make something happen and quickly, but Storm is just chewing people up right now. Storm is looking for the quad, maybe going to get the delayed quad. I know that they are screaming on the mic right now, and it just seems like Z-tier players have this path laid out for the Rainmaker, and they are just completely content with this.
And they're got a couple of points on, and now they have a safer lead, but 7 out of 10, too much ink. They have a long road ahead. They still have not even gotten the check yet, even though 42 is a beatable lead. With 2 down, now they can start dropping the mid, start getting specials available. You see J-Lo there close, but not quite ready to have that stamp yet there. They're moving ahead of top mid. And that's a lot of yellow paint in mid for now from 7 out of 10. But here comes Storm charging through that yellow paint, looking to find 1 kill, looking to find a couple more, and that'll do it. Z-tier players gets their first win in the set. They save off the sweep, and they make this a 2-1 set here.
Storm was on fire that match, if I can say anything about what happened there. That was the 52 Gal user. They were doing a fantastic job in just really pressuring and confirming picks. We see all their matching emotes there. I love to see it. And I mean, they really brought it back. They were like, okay, it's time to lock in for real. And they did. So now we are going to be going over to Umami Ruins Clams. However, I mean, Too Much Ink is just 1 win away from taking the set for themselves. So we really need to see Z-tier players kind of ride that win and really hope to keep that confidence into this upcoming match.
Yeah, if you're 7 out of 10 to Too Much Ink, you can't get too complacent here. The momentum that you're probably feeling off those first 2 wins has gotta be humongous, especially considering the circumstances, considering that not a lot of people are projecting you to win those games, but you can't let it slip now. If you're in that VC, you just gotta stay calm, collect yourself, and lock in to win at least one of these next 2 games, either on Umami Clams coming up or on Ramen Zones, if it comes to it. And I don't know, like, I think they didn't necessarily have a bad game last game, even though they did lose. They just couldn't quite break through. I kind of attribute that more to Z-tier players just playing rock solid defense, just never letting up on that elbow, rather than anything that 7 out of 10 did wrong per se. So it'll be interesting to see how they rebound here going into Umami Clams.
I completely agree. It just seems like a case of being in that elbow area and really not being able to push through the defenses. They did such a strong defensive play. Loved to see that, and they kind of just got enough to ensure the win. And sometimes that's enough, especially on a map like Scorch Gorge. But we are going to be going over to Clams Umami, which really needs a lot of team coordination. You need to have rock solid team coordination, in my opinion, in order to really ensure a win. But I mean, we do have 49er on the brush. We know what brushes are capable of in Clam Blitz. There may be some, flanks going on with some balls. We may be seeing some other things, some shenanigans, but we aren't going to have to think about it much longer because we are going into the mess. This is match point once again because it is best of 5. If Too Much Ink takes it home, they are going to be moving forward. We are going to be seeing the return of the pencil and the dynamo roller.
Yeah, and that dynamo roller, it can be absolutely nasty on this map if it gets to the right spots, on dome, on top mid. It's something that Z-tier players has got to look out for throughout the duration of this match. We're going to see Chai here sticking with that junior for all 4 of these games so far. They've gotten some good values. They're popping bubble maybe a bit early, trying to take space on this right side here. They're going to be met with crabs though. Gray on this top mid though, trying to charge the crab their own. They're going to find a nice kill on 49er on that top mid. They had the second kill there, although their team is 2 down. Still, Gray keeping their team in the game with those kills for themselves.
Really strong cleanup, really strong follow-up from Gray here. We are going to be giving up some aggro with the crab here. The whale is going to come out, and it's going to be comboed with members of Z-tier players throwing everything at Too Much Ink. Too Much Ink goes down 3 times. Neptune is saying, come this way. We really want to make a ball and score right now. This is our only opportunity. You see Rem in the back kind of just setting up. We're ready for Cooler. Tide Cooler is going to be coming out any second now. Crab on dome. It's pretty much all she wrote as long as somebody's able to get the ball in. If you get a crab on the dome, it's not game over, but it's going to be quite difficult to get them out of that spot. That is priority number 1. We see the hammer being thrown on that dome area to get Neptune out of the way. Kraken is coming out, going to be able to reclaim the dome area for themselves, hopefully stopping the push. However, someone's still there. They're still getting plants in the basket, DH. What can I say? This push is never ending.
49er had an amazing play with their Kraken. They switched over the Kraken rush for this game, and it just paid off so far. I think they were able to get 2 there, keep the basket open, get more clams in. That's going to be it for Z-tier players for that push, but 21 on the first push is insane. 10 out of 10 has their work cut out for them here. They have a long way to go. But the good news for them, there's still plenty of time left, just 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's more than enough to get some momentum here. You're going to see Droid get the cooler out for their team, move forward on the left side, try and see if they can get some momentum here. knowing that they have a big penalty behind them, they can maybe be a bit more risky here, knowing that, if Super Players were to push again, they might not score immediately on this Kraken. Once again, causing so much havoc for the side of Z-tier players, putting a thorn in any momentum that 10 out of 10 wanted to get there.
Z-tier players is doing a fantastic job at really just maintaining their lead here. They're maintaining their comfort level. They're like, okay, we're going to keep you at arm's length. We know that you're here. We know that you're in mid, but we are still in the lead here, and it's a formidable lead. We pretty much basically need a really good situation to come and happen in order to make a lead swap happen. And I'm not even sure if Too Much Ink has the clam capacity to be able to do a lead swap right now. There are 2 minutes left, though, and anything can happen. This game moves incredibly quickly. We are seeing Z-tier players is just kind of sitting in mid, really maintaining their pressure. That is such an important part, especially for the pencil here. The pencil has so much range to be able to poke both sides of the map at any point. It's just so crucial that we need to displace this pencil if we want to move forward.
That pencil by far the longest range weapon on the map. That Kraken 49 is going to come out again. Ran on the pen is going to move up with it. Z-tier players has their second push of the game. We'll see if they end up getting points. If they are 2 down, make that 3 down as 49's Kraken expires. It is just Storm on the HP. They're going to have to back up, but they get taken out as well. It's a delayed wipe on the side of Z-tier players. This might be the opening that 7.9 out of 10 is looking for. They got to move fast though. Otherwise, the members of the players are going to get back. J-Lo pops the stamp, looking for a kill there. They're going to find one on Storm. Here comes the clans for 7.9 out of 10. They're pouring them in, but they still have a couple more to go. They need to hold this for a bit longer. They're throwing clans onto the dome, but that person on dome does go down. It's just J-Lo in for now. Trying to join them. Not going to quite find it. It's just Droid on the Dynamo. But so 7.9 out of 10 does get significant points there, makes that lead just a little bit smaller, but with just 1 minute left, they gotta get another push sometime soon.
I loved seeing their push. I loved that they were able to get such a formidable amount of points on the board here. It's not impossible. There is a minute left. We do have some clams on the board to be grabbed. However, it just seems like most of the clam economy is in the favor of New Inkland C-tier players. We are seeing that they have most of the clams. They are, well, now they're all gone. I don't know what happened to them, but where did they all go? we see too much ink, excuse me, really try and just take force in mid. Unfortunately, we're going to be able to get snuffed out. Everything is happening. Everybody's throwing things in mid here, just trying to take charge of the middle, because it looks over both sides, and you really need to take charge of both of them if you want to move forward. Gray over here really pushing up, trying to make some paint, maybe try to farm for a crab here. I can tell they really want to displace that pencil. It's exactly what they're going to be doing, as there's going to be going over to overtime.
At 7.9 out of 10, they can be patient here. They're going to have some parts of overtime here. They're going to try and run in. Not going to quite find it. Ty dies as they pop the bubble. 49er gets another kill. It's 3 down. 49er pops that Kraken on the ball. They do still have that penny, so that ball dying is not going to end the game. But for all intents and purposes, it's going to end the game. At 7.9 out of 10, they're nowhere near the side of Z-tier players' basket. Time is going to expire, and Z-tier players is going to tie up this set at 2-2. Forcing a decisive Game 5 and putting the reverse sweep just 1 game away.
Z-tier players really locked in for this match. I love seeing that they didn't really have a moment where they wiped. They did such a fantastic job at pulling back when they needed to, being safe when they needed to, playing life when they needed to as well, and just aggressing as well, taking advantage of the mistakes that Too Much Ink made, if they made any. It's very formidable. I think they definitely got into their groove. You love to see sets like this. So as we're headed into Zones Ramen, I will mention that Too Much Ink did win the previous Zones map, but I mean, that doesn't really mean anything here. It could, but we'll see what happens.
At this point, that first Barnacle Zones game feels like an eternity away based on how Z-tier players have played these last 2 games. They have all the momentum right now. All of the bad vibes from those first 2 games have been washed away. And I think if 7.8 out of 10 Too Much Ink, you just gotta find a way to stop the bleeding here. And, just take a moment to collect yourself in VC if you're there. Just lock in a bit and, move forward. And knowing that you only need to win 1 game, you're so close to pulling off this upset. Just try and calm yourself with the pressure of this tournament, knowing that so many people are watching. I think they really just gotta take that moment to collect themselves here and try and make sure that Z-tier players can't overpower them with how much momentum they have right now.
For sure. I mean, Too Much Ink has done a fantastic job at really just showing how formidable they are at their specific weapons. how good of a job that they're doing in their pressure and their flexibility. And I mean, I love any gamer that plays Mini. So I do love to see a team with Mini on it. It's so interesting. I think it's very interesting. However, Z-tier players, they're incredibly proficient in what they do. We just never really see any downtime for them either. They are always up to something. They're always crabbing. They're always doing something. So we are headed into the match point, whether you like it or not. It is best of 5, 2-2 right now. Z-tier players versus 7.8 out of 10 too much ink. We're not going to be seeing many comp changes, still sticking with the Kraken brush here as we head into zones.
Yep, both these teams sticking with what they like, what they know best, and what's worked for them. I'd say for both these teams, these comps have seen moments of brilliance, but do they have one more in them? We're about to find out in this game 5 here. It's going to be an initial cap from 7 out of 10, but it's going to be immediately contested. Captain turn by Z-tier players look to move up with Neptune's Crab. You see two people, Storm and 49 leading to that ramp. Ren getting a nice pick with that pencil for someone who tried to drop on that bottom left. The bubble and the stand do return on the side of 7 out of 10, and they're going to cap, but not quite get back in the mid. Z-tier players are going to cap that immediately after.
For sure, Chai is going to be trying to scare away that Kraken there, really trying to put some paint on the ground in the elbow, just to make sure that we have some space to back up in if we need it. Gray with the Crab out here applying some much needed pressure from too much ink. We really needed to displace that pencil. I feel like that is just the play of the game. Make sure that that pencil is not on that little glass area by the tacticooler. We want to make sure that that is just set. Looking for a flank, able to punish the flank. Really strong showing from Gray here as we collect the juice and are ready to push on.
Gray has just been a monster with these buoys for all 5 games of this set. As they look to Shark by the glass, finds a nice suction bomb kill that could be their way forward to contest that ramp and fully lock out Z-tier players. You see J-Lo pops a stand, not going to find anything on the throw. 49ers going to respond with that Kraken moving in the zone and stopping the zone timer and fully capping the zone. Actually, no, that might be a 7 out of 10 cap there. And that's going to continue for a little bit there. Z-tier players gets 2 down, but they still need to paint that zone. The bubble is going to be up. And it's going to be 2 going down on each side there. That zone timer finally gets stopped there. It's going to be Z-tier players finally getting a nice penalty. And now they have a long way to work back from.
I was going to mention they do have a lot of cleanup to do here. Most of the map is blue, and if you're Z-tier players, you're like, let's make that yellow right now. So as you can see, I mean, Ren is back on that glass area. That is where a pencil player is going to want to sit because you just have range. You have the range to be able to just paint the zone over and over and over. We're really going to be needing specials to displace. We're going to be needing to see a crab or something, but I mean, Z-tier players is not giving too much any room to breathe here. We're really trying to push forward. We see J-Lo here with the Mini trying to just get some paint on the ground, really apply some pressure, and we're able to flip the zone again. Hopefully 7.8 out of 10 is able to chew through their penalty, but it's back. It's back in the favor of Z-tier players. It's just back and forth right now.
7 out of 10 doing just an amazing job continuing to get back in. Z-tier players not gotten a lot of points yet. They're still working through a penalty, even though they haven't really had a big penalty to work with to begin with. Z-tier players need to find a way to fully lock out 7 out of 10. If they want to stay in this game, they won't even get close to let alone taking it, but that might be a start. Finding a nice kill on Gray. That's going to be traded back as well for Neptune there. And still, 7 out of 10 continues to work their way back in the zone, continues to work their way to give subsequent penalties for the Z-tier players, and even finding some nice kills farther up. 7 out of 10 has all the momentum right now.
I love that both teams are so balanced. None of these kills go unpunished. There's always somebody there to punish what's happening on the other side. Kraken is going to be trying to get hungry for a kill, but like I said, we're just able to punish every single mistake, every single misstep. There has to be like 30 seconds left on the clock. We are trying to feed our penalty here. And when I say 30 seconds, I mean for too much ink, because they are in favor of the zone. They have to chew through their penalty. About 3 ticks left. We are going through our penalty. Neptune on the crab just trying to cover the zone as much as possible. There's only 2 left from Z-tier players. We're trying to throw everything at the zone, and that is it. The winners of this set is 7.8 out of 10. Too much ink.
They stave off the reverse sweep at the last moment, and they take what I think is going to be the biggest upset of the tournament so far. They're moving on to I believe, quarterfinals in the winners bracket, sending Z-tier players to losers bracket. Not a spot I think they'd anticipate them going this early, but here it is. 7 out of 10, Too Much Ink pulls off the upset.
I think they did a fantastic job. I loved watching them play together. It felt very natural. I mean, some of these LAN teams, you know, they don't play together frequently, but like I said, it just seemed like they all have played together for forever. Love to see it. Gray on the dualies, fantastic job. Chai as the support, really fantastic job. And I mean, you know, bravo to them. And like, we don't really have a lot of time to kind of talk about how awesome they are because we do have to move into our next set because it is ready. So,
yeah, we are going to see 7 out of 10 Too Much Ink make their return in this second set. They're going to be taking on Super G from Gatorland in Florida, the seed number 4 versus the seed number 12 here. And again, like, I mean, initially you think that this would be a bit of a mismatch between seed 4 and seed 12, but I mean, that's what we thought last set, and clearly we were proven wrong between 7 out of 10's amazing win there. And took 5 games, but they did get it done here.
yeah, so we are going to be seeing Monsoon Season, the winners of Sunset Surge versus Deep Fried Chuds, the winners of SoCali. So I really like their names here, and I love the logos. I love just the little mascots that every single LAN has. It just makes it so cute and so unique. And Sunset Surge is just such a fantastic LAN, and so is SoCali. I'm really excited to see this matchup here. So, I mean, Monsoon Season, winners of Sunset Surge. They have Pepe, Nightmare, CMO, and Shiny. It's very familiar names, if you do say so myself. But, I mean, we do have on Deep Fried Chuds, Key, Atlas, Redmat, and Mia.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Monsoon Season's roster, like, it is just stacked from top to bottom. Pepe and Shiny, mainstays of the scene, especially with their LAN at Sunset Surge. I believe they were here last LCS, and they've been just, even in non-LAN events, like, they've just been representing so many times. Pepe with Trigger for Zone Supremacy, the CMO with various top-level teams as well with that tent, and they're just going to be a monster of a team for anyone in this tournament.
So I don't know if we're seeing the same thing, but I see that Redmat is just Bamboo, just a Bamboo player. I love to see that. I'm really interested to see how this person plays on Bamboo, especially considering the current meta and the weapons on the other team, because CMO is a tent player. So, I mean, I'm expecting to see some really unique weapon picks here, and I know that Mia is incredibly proficient on the Splatana, so I am incredibly excited for this set. Oh, I'm just at the edge of my seat.
Yeah, for Deep Fried Chuds, you know, bit more of a newcomer, if you want to call it that, compared to what you see in Monsoon Season, but they're just as dangerous, I'd say. You mentioned Mia on that Viper. They're just one of the best Viper players in all of North America. You will see a lot of highlights from them, I bet, once we're through with this set. You look at Atlas as well, playing crab weapons. I think that'll be very interesting for them as well. And again, like, you don't see that many Bamboo one-tricks, but I think it's definitely a weapon where if you see a one-trick of it, you know you're gonna be in for something dangerous. I think it takes a lot of dedication to play a weapon like that, and, you know, to spend all those hours on it, it's going to be something that Monsoon Season needs to look out for here.
For sure, I definitely expect Mia to be clip farming her clips here, and everybody to just try their best. I mean, we are in winners quarterfinals, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So our first match is going to be Zones on Mako Mart, by the way. In case you were curious about where we're headed and where we're going, you can see that on the map. We are going to be going to Zones Mako, Remaker Undertow, Clams Museum, Tower Haggle, and Zones Mahi if we make it there.
And the number one thing that my eyes gravitate towards for Zones Mako is going to be K, the roller player for Deep Fried Chuds. I think like, this is just one of the best roller maps, if not the best roller map in the entire game. And I think, like, Monsoon Season, they gotta do a good job keeping check on that roller just to make sure they're not sharking behind the stack, sharking in zone, taking advantage of all the ledges that in the map, all of the cover that's there in mid. I think it is such a dangerous roller map. I cannot emphasize it enough. And I think Monsoon Season, like, I don't think it's necessarily the best draw for them because of it.
Exactly. I mean, we're going to be pushing forward here. We're going to see what everybody has brought. We are seeing a pencil and 2 sloshers. We're seeing a pencil explosher and a tri-slosher. And we are seeing the fabled Bamboo player and the roller. I am really curious to see how that matchup of the 2 backline-ish weapons of Knight on the Explo and Shiny on the the pencil is going to work here, but we are going to be moving forward and just getting with it. We are seeing the Explo taking charge of the stack. Really formidable place for the Explo to be, and most of the map is yellow as Monsoon Season is pressuring.
It's an early cap from Monsoon. Here's Knight on the Explosion, trying to hold that left stack, forces one to jump out, but two do go down on the side of Monsoon to make that three. It is just Knight on the Expo. They're gonna have to pop that splash down. Managed to find one before being able to back up. Mia with the Ultra Stamp is gonna find one on that Expo before being taken out in turn there. But still, very nice momentum for Deep Fried Chuds to start here.
Pepe is doing a fantastic job at just cleaning up the mess in mid. Zuka out, unable to find anybody. Unfortunately, Mia is surviving, and she is able to get a stamp at the ready just in case. It's in her back pocket, just waiting for the right opportunity to pop it. We are going to be aggressing very far forward here. It's going to be punished, but it was a good trade. We are seeing Monsoon Season only with 2 up, so we are on the back foot here. We're just trying to play for life right now.
You're going to see a jump back to right side flat on the side of Monsoon Season. And Deep Fried Chuds, they're moving through the zone timer quite quickly here. There's going to be 2 going down on both sides. Now it is just that tri-slosher on the side of Deep Fried Chuds. They're going to be able to camp this jump as well. It's going to be a cap of the zone for Monsoon Season and a stoppage of the lead.
For sure, Knight is here trying to just really apply pressure with the Explo's AoE. We do see a splashdown at the ready, so I fully expect them to be a little bit more aggressive. Pepe is going to be trying to contest the right stack here. Atlas is really just trying to get a pick, unable to get it. Pepe's movement is just next level. Mia is there with the famous stamp. We are going to be having a little bit of a trade out as the pencil Shiny is able to just really hold this pressure. And I mean, it's such short range on the side of Deep Fried Chuds. It's very difficult for them to push in without the use of specials here. However, they are in control with the chumps, even though only one is alive. Shiny is really trying to flip the zone here as Deep Fried Chuds is respawning.
Good effort by Monsoon to get that lead, but they're going to need to push far enough. There's still plenty of time left, and it's not really a safe lead, especially since, like, I think Deep Fried Chuds does not have that big of a penalty. But Deep Fried Chuds, they've also got to watch out now, too. Monsoon Season working through that penalty. They managed to stop the zone, but it gets recapped just like that. The jumps come up from Redrum on that Bamboozler. Here comes the bubble and the Ultra Stamp. Media rushing down that left side. They're going to help find a kill. They're going to help find a 3-down situation and a cap on the zone.
For sure, only one is up from Monsoon Season. We are going to be trying to play for life here. They're getting the jump out. They really need a reset. I don't know if they have a lot of time for the reset. Deep Fried Chuds is chewing through their penalty quite quickly. We are going to be out of penalty incredibly soon. Pepe is on the stack, just kind of sharking around. However, everybody on the other team, they do have a tactical cooler available, so they do have that safety net under their belt. Pepe is going to try to find a pick with the Zuka, able to find something. 2 down from the side of Deep Fried Chuds. We see the chumps coming out there a little bit far forward, not enough to cap the zone, but I mean, it is looking good for Monsoon Season. We're going to be just really hoping to try to keep the zone here. Most of the map is yellow. I mean, they have so much paint pressure with the pencil, with the shot, with the try, with the Explo. It's so much.
Yeah, it's do or die right now for Deep Fried Chuds. They're going to make their way in the zone with that bubble, with that stamp, as they've been doing for most of this game. And it is going to result in a cap. They apply a penalty on Monsoon Season, and they don't have a large penalty themselves. That's pretty Jackakea on the roller there, getting some nice damage in. Just like that, Monsoon Season is 2 down. That roller there still sharking below. Still trying to find some good value on a map that is quite good. They're going to look for kills on the spawn. They're going to find one on Pepe. Great kill there by Jackakea. And the splashdown is going to be jumped out just in time. Great awareness to dodge that splashdown. Here comes the screen. The lead does flip there. Now it's Monsoon Season that's got to go. They're working their way to mid, but that roller once again finding a kill on the stack. Just so much promise for Monsoon Season. Now they're able to move in. The splashdown's going to come out. That'll be enough to cap the zone.
I mean, Kay, the roller player was on fire for a moment there. Just the intuition to jump out at that exact moment, so strong, so awesome. I loved that. But I mean, now Monsoon Season, they have the upper hand. When we see a X-Flosher on the stack, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to push forward through this here. We do see the Tri-Slosher on the other team, the side of Deep Fried Chuds, did have their tactical cooler available, so we are going to be seeing Deep Fried Chuds be able to push in here without many issues. We're in overtime, but it's not enough. I believe that Deep Fried Chuds was the winner? I'm not too sure since it wasn't overtime. Yep, it was Deep Fried Chuds.
Yep. Yeah, it was a back and forth game though. You really thought like even in the waning seconds of that, it really could go anywhere. Like I thought Monsoon Season was going to be able to pull through, but Deep Fried Charge, they worked their way back into mid at just the right time, and they take game 1 because of it. Really amazing team play there. I mean, from both teams, I think like for a map that can be a bit hard to retake on at times, both teams are able to retake quite easily throughout the duration of the match. I mean, I think we saw like 3 to 4 like successful retakes from both teams throughout the match. That's a lot more compared to Zones, a map that does end KOs a lot of the time. So I really think the most important one there at the end by Deep Fried Church was enough to take it. But again, that game just so close. Really came down the margins there.
For sure. I loved seeing all of those retakes. I think both of these teams are incredibly proficient and excel at retake, which it makes so fun to watch. I love it. But, I mean, as I say, fun to watch. We are going over to Undertow Spillway, which, I mean, it does have the possibility to be pretty stalematey. That's the problem with this map. It can be stalematey if it's allowed to be. So we'll see if somebody's able to just grab the Rainmaker and go. But, I mean, I expect there to be, like, all action, no downtime, especially considering the comp. We've seen the Roller, the Splatana, we've seen the Explo. It's just gonna be so volatile, and I'm very excited to see where this next match goes.
Yeah, it's an interesting map because you're right in that it can be very stalematy, but I think when the dam breaks on defense, it truly breaks. And I think teams, they gotta be careful on defense because even though it is defense favored, but even still, they gotta be careful because it's Rainmaker. The game can change in just one moment, and we'll see here. We'll keep an eye on CMO here. They're running back Try again. They're mainly a Tent player, and Tent is a great weapon on this map, but they're gonna stick with that Ashen Tri-Slosher here to start countering the Tri-Slosher Nouveau that we've seen 2 games now from Deep Fried Charge. It's gonna be a rerun of basically the same weapons, I think, from both teams as they work their way into mid. Going to be a pop from Deep Fried Charge to start there. Some pretty nice popping pops, particularly with that Wiper there. And they're gonna find a nice kill on the pencil. That's gonna be no fear to start from Monsoon Season. Jaga Ika helping to get 2, and that's an early wipeout. The Rainmaker does go down amidst that, so Deep Fried Chud's gonna be a little delay in getting to that checkpoint, but Jaga Ika popping the bubble at that checkpoint, it's gonna be still an early checkpoint from Deep Fried Chud.
You didn't see it, but my jaw dropped when they got that wipeout. That was, when I say it's volatile, it's volatile. You got the wipeout, and now suddenly you blink, and there's another wipeout, and we're all in the first minute. I'm really happy that it's not stalemate Undertow. It's actually like volatile, explosive, energetic Undertow. We are seeing the Rainmaker in control of Monsoon Season here. Shiny is in a very aggressive position. They are going to be snuffed out by literally everything, but they're still alive despite it all. Shiny is able to push up and aggress here, and it just seems like Deep Fried Chuds, where are they? It seems like they all kind of went down at an inopportune time, and now Nia over here on the flank, able to get Shiny, really just throwing the stamp, camping this jump, and she's able to get 2, clear out from the behind. However, they did push the Rainmaker all the way up to 23.
I think these teams heard us when we described this map as stalematey, defense heavy. Throw all of that out the window here. Monsoon Season responding with a vengeance after that. They got hit hard in that opening. They get it all the way to 23. That's a very nice lead here. And if they want, they can lock in and play some defense here. Jaga Ika might have something to say about that as they pop a bubble, find a kill, and get their team back in the mid. Sharking forward with that turn up, going underneath the ledge, finding one on CMO. Looking for a second there to move right, trying to kill that pencil. They can't quite find it, and they are going to jump back.
This Roller player is so interesting to watch. I love seeing good Roller gameplay. It's like if you're on a ledge, goodbye to you. You know what I mean? But we are seeing Pepe really trying to carve a way out in the elbow area for their team to push forward and really secure the win. You can tell that they're not complacent with this lead. They know and they understand that we need to continue to try to win and continue to push. We can't just wait for the other team to, come back. We have to play it aggressive here. Mia does have the stamp ready, and she is preparing for people to overstep and push into her. However, we are going to be seeing that be canceled out by the Rainmaker. Strong showing from Pepe here. We are kind of locked on this Grates area. We are going to have to play a little bit patiently with the Rainmaker. Going to try and push through the choke. Not able to push it much further, though.
Monsoon Season gets a single point added to the lead, going from 23 to 22 before their push dissipates here. You still see Ria fighting off on the elbow. Gonna help find a couple there. And there's still some fights going on during this elbow. Maybe not cleared out as much as Deep-Fried Chuds wanted to. They arguably want to be going back in the game as fast as they can because even though they have had a lot of leading moments so far, they're still pretty far from lead. They have checkpoint, they have some momentum, but they still need a long way to go in terms of points.
It definitely seems like Monsoon Season is really just writing the script for this match. They are dictating what's happening, when it's happening, and I mean, it's just they have such a strong foothold on this match here. Unfortunately, only the Rainmaker is left alive, and that is the wipeout. That is the opportunity that Deep-Fried Chuds absolutely needed in order to move forward here. We are wasting no time painting up. We're trying to go as fast as we can, but with Rainmaker, you can only go as fast as one person can swim, and if there's paint in the way, you can't really move too fast. We already see 2 down on both sides, so the wipeout, they were able to get back in mid, but they weren't able to do much more than that. We really need to see another wipeout, if anything, to see maybe a lead swap.
We see a lot of trades going back and forth between these teams, but trades, they're going to be in the favor of Monsoon Season because they have such a good lead. And now we see them start to win some fights cleanly. That's 3 down, trying to chase down Atlas, and they're going to get it. That's a wipe up for Monsoon Season with just under a minute left. If they want, they can just take this Rainmaker to the stall spot, take it to a corner, and just wait out the timer. We'll see if they choose to do that. It varies with how these teams like to play. I mean, we know in Monsoon Season they've been aggressive throughout the duration of this game. They're taking it farther up left. We'll see if they have to push it further. Here's Pepe with Ezekiel gonna help find a couple. Oh, still moving forward, and Deep-Fried Chuds, they're just calling a brutal stagger right now. Pepe moving forward, still trying to fight some more, and it doesn't look like this Rainmaker's gonna move up. They're just content to leave it in this corner here, stall it out, and Deep-Fried Chuds, they don't really have an answer. Here's Ria with the last second ultra step. It's not gonna find it. That Rainmaker's gonna move towards that second checkpoint with just 5 seconds left, but they're gonna go down. Oh my goodness, I did not think they were gonna go down there. It's 3 down. Monsoon Season had this game won, but just like that, Deep-Fried Chuds out of nowhere gets an overtime opportunity. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
We are able to snuff out the flank just enough time. Mia is available with the stamp here. We cannot make any mistakes whatsoever if we want to make sure we get a lead swap here. We are going to be trying to take the Rainmaker left. I feel like somebody really needs to be accompanying the Rainmaker to make sure that nobody is up and getting. Oh my goodness. And I mean, the Tri-Slosher does as a Tri-Slosher will do, come out from the other side and just get a pick on the Rainmaker. But incredibly well fought match from both sides, especially from Monsoon Season. They did such a fantastic job at keeping the pressure up even when they were in such an advantageous position.
Monsoon Season ties this set up at 1 apiece, and again, just really well fought by both teams, but I feel like Monsoon Season really pulled through, especially at the end of the defense. I know that Rainmaker died with just under 5 seconds left. That was shocking to me, but everything before that was just perfect. Like, it really felt like Deep-Fried Chuds could not get established in mid. They just locked everything down. It was like at the end they were just kind of throwing stuff at the Rainmaker to see if it could work out, and somehow it did. Like that in itself was crazy if they managed to get a kill. I thought they had that game put on ice, but they managed to clean it up in overtime at the end, rectifying that mistake, and again tying up the set. And really, this set has been 2 close games, and honestly, I could not tell you who's gonna win. It's been so back and forth, so even.
Oh, it's so fun to watch. I love how you can tell that these teams are just so similar in skill level, and it really is such a treat to watch very proficient players play at their best like this, especially winners of 2 LANs that are kind of close together. They're only just a state away, so I really love to see it. I mean, it was just so fantastic. It wasn't like Deep-Fried Chuds were doing anything wrong either. It just seems like Monsoon Season had their number, and they knew exactly where to look every single time. Fantastic job. And I wonder if on the next match we're going to be able to do the same reads as Monsoon Season did on Deep-Fried Chuds, if we're going to be able to read what they're going to be doing on Clam's Museum.
Yeah, Clam's Museum, it's a very volatile map, and one that I'm especially curious for Deep-Fried Chuds because it is so backline favored. You know, Monsoon Season, they're running an Explosher, they're running stuff that has a lot of range. But for Deep-Fried Chuds, like, Bamboo is not really a backline. I mean, it can be a backline, it's flexible, but that's the longest range weapon on the team. It can't really take advantage of just so many open sightlines that are on Museum, especially on Clams. And for all the other 3 weapons, those are extremely short range. They want to be up in your face, scrapping. That's not necessarily what Museum, that's not necessarily what it encourages. But so we'll see if they can take advantage of it, if they can adapt to it.
We are seeing Shiny on the pencil once again, and we're going to be continuing with what we know best. And I know that you said the Bamboo, I mean, it may be at a deficit because of the range. However, I will never underestimate the power of a one-trick. I think that one-tricks make the world go round in competitive Splatoon. They really just push what they want to. Mia, unfortunately, goes down quite quickly at the hands of the custom Explosher here. However, that is going to be punished by the roller here. It's just too aggressive trades. We didn't really get anything off of them. However, we do have 3 down suddenly, and that's the wipeout from the side of Monsoon Season. Shiny is going to waste no time really trying to push forward and get some points on the board here. However, we are going to be waiting just a little bit for our team. We're not going to be doing it a bit too hasty.
And they're gonna go now here. They're gonna break that barrier and get that wipeout. Great plays by Monsoon Season to start here as they take that lead all the way down into the 50s here to start. They might have some more claims. We'll see if Nightmare opts to push it. Looks like they're not going to quite do it. They're going to cancel that splashdown. So Deep Fried Chuds, they stopped the 51. Still very manageable, even though it's a great start by Monsoon Season.
One thing that I really want to be seeing from Deep Fried Chuds is people kind of pushing up together. I feel like we're seeing Mia really be aggressive. We really want just team fights. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing good team fights. We are seeing Red on the Bamboo trying to put some pressure in mid here. They turn away, and suddenly there's a bucket right behind you. We're going to jump out just for safety here. But I mean, like I said, Monsoon Season with 2 buckets, it's really hard to keep your eyes forward when there's possibly going to be a flank just right under your nose. And so we are seeing people just trying to survive in mid here. The splatter color screen is going to be saved for a later date. We're going to jump out for safety. Mia is pushing and aggressing forward so much on the edge of life and death right now. But, I mean, do we have the clam economy to score here? I'm not too sure. We are going to be blinded by the screen in the meantime.
Mia getting some nice momentum, especially here. Now they pop the stamp, going all the way to the basket, but they're all alone there. They can't find anything with the throw. They're still moving up. Monsoon cannot take care of Mia. Finally, she goes down in a trade, but the team is just a little bit too far behind to take advantage of it. The members of Monsoon Season are respawning. They are making their way back to defend that basket. It's not going to quite result in points for Deep Fried Chuds just yet. That whale is going to come out, maybe make something happen there. You're going to see Jagged Nika move forward with that roller on the current box. You see the splashdown come out as well. The bubble's going to be right underneath the basket. We'll see if Deep Fried Chuds can take any advantage of that. Not quite though. That ball isn't going to find its way in the basket. Not only now it does, but it's a wipeout on the side of Deep Fried Chuds. They get some points, but definitely not enough considering how many fights are going their way that sequence.
For sure. It just seems like Deep Fried Chuds, they seem to be at a different step from each other. They seem to be just kind of desynced a little bit as to when things should be happening and when to aggress and when we should be doing things. However, I mean, Monsoon Season, they're playing very stable. They understand the assignment a little bit. They're playing very safe. However, they are just a force to be reckoned with as well because, I mean, they punish any aggressive play that Mia is trying to make here. And so, I mean, we're just playing safe. We're trying to be like, okay, you come into us then. And that's exactly what's happening. They're playing safe. They have 2 power clams under their belt and a splashdown in their back pocket. Splashdown is going to come out just to stall for life here. Shiny is going to be tossing the juice into mid. Perfect for our team to maybe make something happen. We're going to be seeing an aggressive play from the Tri-Slosher. It is going to lead in some points on the board though.
Yeah, they get the ball in, but it's not going to result in any points. It's going to result in a bit of a stagger. That's delayed 3 down on the side of Monsoon Season. Maybe this is the opening that we're waiting for Deep Fried Chuds to take advantage of. They've been getting good picks, but it has not resulted in anything on the scoreboard. That's going to be 3 down. It's just leaves them on that Bamboo, left to fend for themselves. CMO looking good on Cookie. CMO is going to find the pick there. They make that ball in. Captures the momentum when Clear Deep Fried Chuds. It went away just the same. Now Monsoon Season's back in business. Here comes the screen. CMO leading the score, and they'll do just that. Now we got points on the board for Monsoon Season. CMO sharking for that screen. They get a kill with the screen on lead jump. Interesting play there, but it's going to work out here. Although not quite the amount of clams that I anticipate. Okay, now we see some clams in, but still, not going to be too much there. Deep Fried Chuds doing a good job cleaning up, make sure they don't get too many points, but with just 40 seconds left, they have a long way to go if they want to take this lead back.
In my opinion, it just feels like Monsoon Season is kind of unkillable. It seems like they come back so quickly after everything that happens, and we aren't able to keep up in time to take advantage of those downs, unfortunately. Pepe is going to be ensuring the wipeout here. They are going to be making a power clamp, and they are going to be holding it just for a second to really guarantee that they're going to be able to get the win here. But there's no clams on the economy for Deep Fried Chuds, unfortunately. There's 0 on their end. It feels like the map may just not be spawning them in their favor. Shiny is in mid here. It's a very scary position for somebody to be in, especially if you're a pencil. And I mean, we really just want to guarantee that we get the ball into that basket, but I feel like the safest play is to just wait out overtime here.
Shiny standing in that top mid, shutting things down with that pencil there. Time is running out. 3 go down on Deep Fried Chuds, and that's going to do it. It'll be a win for Monsoon Season here in a game that they really controlled from start to finish here. Deep Fried Chuds had moments throughout the game, but they were just that, moments. The moments went as fast as they came, and credit to Monsoon Season, honestly, for really responding to make sure that, you know, when a couple of them went down, especially to Mia and to that roller as well, that they were able to just regroup, respawn, not let it stagger too much, and just get back on defense and use it to counter push.
For sure. I mean, at the same time, I also think it may just be a weapons diff because, I mean, the pencil was in mid most of the time. Shiny was doing a fantastic job at maintaining pressure over the map at the entire time. Just one snipe away and you're gone. And I mean, having them in mid is just so terrible if you try to push. I mean, you know how it is when you play on this map and there's a pencil in mid. What can you do, really, aside from get a Zuka and just try to pressure? So we'll see if on the next map there's going to be something in Deep Fried Chuds' favor. We're going to be going over to Tower Hagglefish, and I definitely am excited to see the roller really get those ledges. I feel like this is definitely a better map mode for them.
Yeah, although once again, you gotta watch out for the 2 backlines, Shiny and Nightmare, on the side of Monsoon. This is another map where I think the backlines, if they can position right, if they can really just zone out, force drops onto the front lines, that Wiper, that Roller, and that Try from Deep Fried Chuds, they could be in a lot of trouble, similar to how they were in a lot of trouble on that last map in Museum Clams. I think that double backline composition that we've been seeing from Monsoon Season, it has worked fairly well. You know, you don't see double backline a lot, and it obviously has its flaws, but its ability to space out, especially a lot of the shorter range front lines on the Deep Fried Chuds, it's worked so far. And I think Hagglefish Market Tower is another way. That's another stage where I think Deep Fried Chuds, they gotta solve it. At least get pressure on one of the backlines, if not both of them.
You know, I really love seeing Explosher in high-level gameplay. I think that it's a weapon that a lot of people are kind of sleeping on. So this set has been such a treat for me to watch, especially in a comp such as double backline. It shows that it can work. You just have to take the correct positioning. We aren't going to be seeing many changes. We are going to be seeing a pencil. The bamboo player is headed over to pencil. We're swapping over, just trying to do a last-ditch effort to see if this can help us out and paint the area that we can move forward into. So they are opting for a more traditional comp. The roller is going to be getting 2 in a very quick opening here.
Early action from Jagged Eco on that roller on a map that they're just actually on with that weapon. They're still getting some more momentum, cleaning up CMO and mid, and Deep Fried Chuds had the first push of the game, getting it to that first checkpoint, and helping get 2 more down on side of Monsoon. Monsoon calling a bit of a stag here. Jagged Eco still trying to make space. They have that bubble up. They're going to be reinforced with that stamp from Mia. Going forward there, trying to find something there. Stamp is going to get taken down, but it's not going to be without killing that pencil there. Monsoon Season still staggering. Now they finally clean things up there.
I'm not sure if you're seeing the score, but I mean, within the first minute, we already broke through the first checkpoint and are already chewing through the second checkpoint at a score of 37. So, I mean, there's plenty of time on the clock to be able to push forward and get another lead going for Monsoon Season, but that is a fantastic showing from Deep Fried Chuds, especially from Jagged Eco being on the roller, just getting pick after pick and really carving out a place for them to go. Shiny is going to be cleaning up and pushing the tower all the way to the first checkpoint. We are going to be needing to see somebody rotate over to top right when the time comes. We're going to be waiting there just for a second, and it looks like the Tri-Slosher is going to be trying to rotate onto top right once they are given the opportunity to.
Yeah, Deep-Fried Chuds also calling a bit of a stag right now. They're clinging on for dear life on that top fight. They're going to get bombarded with Zukas and screens alike. Still being patient, and they're not going all in for that lead Monsoon Season. They're not going to quite get there. There's nobody on tower, and they're still 3 points short of that lead. They're going to opt to repeat in there rather than force that lead. But just like that, that patience may have paid off there. That's 2 down on the side of Deep-Fried Chuds. They might be able to push again. There's CMO riding that tower. They get the jump to top mid. Now Nightmare takes over. Nightmare's going to use that splashdown, help get some value there. They're still close to leading. They finally get it there. CMO wreaking havoc on that top mid. Gonna get taken out by Mia. But that Zuka from Pepe is going to get 2. And that tower's hurling towards that 3rd checkpoint there. Nightmare's still on that tower. Still holding. Now they're finally get taken out. And Deep-Fried Chuds finally cleans up the push. But an emphatic response from Monsoon Season here.
Such good patience from Monsoon Season. They were like, okay, we don't want to wipe out. We're going to let you have a little bit, but we're going to back up and regroup. And that's exactly what they did, and it got them all the way down to 18. We just have 1 checkpoint left. CMO is trying to push forward. We're going to be very aggressive with the screen. We want to make sure that nobody moves forward whatsoever. The roller is going to be getting an assist there on that person, so we are just kind of fighting for our lives here. We see the splashdown trying to guarantee that we're able to get this checkpoint. It's kind of fruitless. We see Pepe with the Zuka once more trying to make something happen, but I mean, they are in a very difficult spot to get somebody out of. We are able to get the pick. That is a crucial pick. Getting them out of top left is a win condition if you are Deep-Fried Chuds, and that is exactly what they did. And Shiny has to back up here. They have to play for life, and so we are able to back up, and this is a good opportunity for Deep-Fried Chuds to get some paint on the board and ride the tower once again.
They still got to get past that 2nd checkpoint, Deep-Fried Chuds, and that is a tough checkpoint to get to. There's so many ways that Monsoon can use to defend, especially with how much range they have. They gotta find a way to solve that within these last 1 minute 30 seconds, and they're gonna be sent to losers bracket here. But we're keeping on Jagged Ika, this roller, they're sharking. I don't know if Monsoon Season knows they're there. They're gonna help find some space there, pops the bubble, finds 2, and just like that, Deep-Fried Chuds have life. That stamp is going to be thrown as well. Not going to quite find a kill, but once again, Jagged Ika moving up on that rank towards the 2nd circle, killing space from the tower. Great shot by Shiny to take him out there.
Jagged Ika is definitely their glass cannon there. We're able to just get a few picks and then go out. It's so fantastic, and it puts Deep-Fried Chuds in such an advantageous position. And once again, this is match point for Monsoon Season. If they are able to take it home and maintain this lead, and they are able to take it 3-1. So Deep-Fried Chuds really needs to just push forward here and just lock in together to make sure that they're able to stay in this match and not get sent to losers bracket like you said. But I mean, Monsoon Season, they're not giving them any leverage to be able to move forward here. We're not seeing the aggression from Deep-Fried Chuds that we were seeing in previous times. It just feels like they're kind of shambling a little bit, unfortunately. We are seeing Mia over here with the stamp trying to make something happen, but it's just way too much for her, unfortunately. Just the power of a pencil and 2 other buckets is formidable with 8 seconds left.
CMO gonna push all in the spawn, even though they had the lead with 5 seconds left. It's not gonna quite work out for them, but even still, Monsoon Season, they got control of the tower, and that's all it's going to take. Monsoon Season, they dropped the first game of the set, but they respond in turn with 3 straight wins, and they're gonna moving on to winners semifinals here.
Fantastic showing from Monsoon Season, taking it home for Sunset Surge in Arizona, but formidable job from Deep-Fried Chuds. I loved seeing the way that the roller was working. I loved the roller. I loved the wiper. I loved the bamboo. I loved seeing everybody on their associated weapons. But I mean, that is going to be the end of what we're doing here. But we're going to be moving forward. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be moving forward with new casters and a new set coming soon. But in the meantime, DH, can you boost your stuff?
Boost my stuff? Well, I'm going to start by boosting our stuff. We are both TOs for Anarchy Nova. We have a team that's competing in this tournament. We're in the Washington, D.C. area, Northern Virginia. And, you know, if you're in that area, even if you're not in that area, consider coming out. We don't really know what our next run's going to run, but it's an amazing LAN. To ask the team that's playing in this event. It's a whole lot of fun, and hope to see you all there.
For sure, and all I have to boost is to say, please support your local LANs. They are the heart and soul of Splatoon. So thank you so much for stopping by, and be sure to stay tuned because there's more matches to be seen.
Hello and welcome back to the LAN Champion Showdown 2026. We're coming back with losers bracket. It looks like we've got Deep Fry. Oh wait, hold on. Got Overseer versus Z tiers players. I'm getting used to our really cool caster document. My name is Weef. I'm joined by the wonderful Squidoku. How are we feeling so far? I've seen some really cool matches. Just kind of checking in on the other ones through the other streams.
Yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic event that we've got going on here. At the LAN Championship Showdown, we have 12 teams representing 12 locals from across the US and Canada, and we are well underway here. We have completed the first 2 rounds on the winner's side, and for now, we are going to be taking a bit of a diversion into the loser's side of the bracket as part of our mission to bring you every single last match from this tournament.
Yeah, so like these two players is representing New England. They're from the Northeast, not too far away. Overseer representing Shy Shoals. Both
That's
some of the you did mention yeah, so super exciting. One of the really coolest things about this is that most of our casters here have personal investment in the outcomes of these matches. I am/was the head TO of Gatorland, so I'm really keeping an eye on Super G out there, but you also might have the chance to, like Squidoku over here, cast and talk about some of our favorite players that we personally know and have been watching grow over the last few years as these LANs have been running for quite some time. Both of these are long-running LANs.
Yeah, absolutely. These are Chai Shoals has been around for forever. They've been going on for quite a long time. New England is a relatively more recent, but this was our 6th edition to set the team for representing us at this LAN Championship Showdown. And Z-tier players here, of the 12 teams in this event, the only complete full 4-for-4 repeat from last year's LAN Championship Showdown, with 49er, Ren, Neptune, and Storm making up the team that is representing New England.
Yeah, I was super excited to see that as I was, we were kind of looking at, looks like you're going to be in this game, but as we were looking at the teams that qualified, I was like, hey, I recognize those guys from last year when I commentated and was watching the LAN Championship Showdown. So let's see what these teams are bringing.
Let's get right into it. We have New England on your left, Z-tier players on your left, and Overseer on your right. The colors are actually swapped from what is showing up on the display at the start. Wings going down early on quickly, and New England are the first team to take control of the zone.
Yeah, these guys, like you've been saying, they've played together before, so they have quite a lot of synergy right out of the gate. And there's some names that you might recognize, some pretty well-known players. I'm excited to see that Brush player do their work. I always love seeing a Brush player founder, but they have, or not founder, don't founder on the function on the mind, Prosper. We have about a minute in, and already they are halfway through the scoreboard. Super strong lead, popping their touches at really opportune times, taking out the Inkjet with the Zuka. Love to see it. It looks like they're starting to get pushed back, but their hold is still pretty strong here. Oh,
yeah, and even as they go down a few players and Overseer are coming towards the zone, it does they do manage to hold on for a little bit longer there.
We're taking down 20 points. That's about 10 seconds left. 3 of them coming out, really trying to make things happen. But with the Trifles is coming in with a back. Fortunately, they do go 3 down, but not before getting 1 last hold. So that buys them quite a bit of time. That's about 35 seconds that they have to kind of regroup, get themselves back together. They have to stay calm. They have to coordinate their specials. They have to coordinate their defense. And most importantly, do not panic, because at this point, every second is going to count because the clock is ticking. Splatoon goes by so quickly all the time. We're starting to get some specials on the board. 3 specials. That back will be coming out soon. Cooler on the board. Going to give these players some a little bit more confidence. Following up with a Booyah Bomb. We're really trying to displace them off the zone. And finally, that back is going to get popped. We're throwing everything we got. We don't see too many picks out in the front. The Brush player does go down. Unfortunately, the Sword player goes down before they're able to make a whole lot happen. But it looks like they might be able to recoup the zone here. these guys out here, Z-tier players, able to hold on phenomenally, able to recap the zone. 5 ticks left on the board. Zuger ready, not looking too good for Overseer as we're going the last 2 ticks. That's going to be game 1. Very decisive victory here for Z-tier players.
Yeah, that is the first game. A very commanding win for Z-tier players here over Overseer, having control of that zone, and only one real small blip in the middle where they just received a bit of penalty that they had to work through, and from then on it was just it was smooth sailing there the rest of the way through. And unlike in the first round, Z-tier players managing to get that first win on the board in game 1, and as we move into game 2, they will be the team that is in control here, looking to make it a little further into the losers bracket. One of these teams is going to have to fall here, but we still have plenty of time to see, and of course, we've still got as many as 4 games to play. Anything can happen.
Yeah, Z-tier players, if I'm them right now, I'm feeling pretty confident. Of course, you don't want to get too cocky, but the middle game is such a huge part of any competitive environment, not just Splatoon. So getting that first win, getting super decisive, having those good holds, showing that even if you get knocked down a little bit, you're able to recover, feeling super great. Overseer, I might be a little bit shaken up, but if they're able to regain their mental, if they're able to kind of hold strong, they were able to knock them out a little bit. They did have some good plays there. So Clan Blitz is a completely different game than Splat Zones in terms of the progression of it, in terms of the coordination that it requires. So, you know, it's like you said, anything can happen. It's a best of 5, so might potentially see something different. I will say a lot of the games that I saw while kind of perusing through the different streams, so many different streams to watch, was a lot of the games were very back and forth, and while that's absolutely what I want to see most of the time, sometimes it's nice to have the decisive victories. Shakes things up a little bit. You can't have every game be a super hype, last minute overtime push kind of thing, because then the specialness is lost. So I do like to see some decisive victories every once now and again.
Yeah.
Going into game 2?
I agree with you there. Of course, it is fun if every match can go to game 5. But another thing to consider here is that with New Inkland being the higher seed of their first round match, they were, I believe, the only team actually to get upset by the lower seed. So they are the highest seed, dropping down at the start into losers round 1, and so they had a tougher road than they might have been expecting in the first round, and so they are surely warmed up by now and ready to go and ready to come out swinging here in losers round 1.
Already, this is looking a whole lot better for Guyfield's team Overseer over here. It's pretty back and forth. I've been seeing a lot of picks trading, although Z-tier players does have a super payment already, they look like they might be starting to gear up for a push. Overseer, it's been a lot less. Of course, Clan Blitz a little bit slower pace in terms of getting the objective in spot zones there, but as we see specials on the board, looks like Z-tier players are getting pushed back a little bit, but it's really kind of a bit of a scramble. We'll see if this Kraken is able to shake things up. Jump is going to get camped. Looking pretty good for Z-tier players here. They're going to get a super jump in. Going to get that first scoreboard down. 80 points on the board and a few more to go. We do see the special already from the Blaster, so they might be able to continue it. The Blaster does go down. Overseer is going to put a pretty quick end to this push. Only the Sniper Rider left on the team. They jump back, and that's going to be a really great chance for Shishul's team Overseer to kind of get there on the plat. We already see Bounce here with their 52 gal. Trying to make a claim. Got the cooler out. These guys are actually moving on pretty quickly here. They recovered incredibly fast. Kraken out on the board, causing a little bit of chaos, but yeah, they still haven't been able to make a push here a whole lot. Just a little bit of scrambling. We're gonna get that inkjet out. They're gonna be jumping back to the plat and gonna be trying to. Looks like we're just kind of playing hot potato with the super clan here. As we're going back in. Super amazing hold of these guys. It's great that they've been able to hold their plat for as long as they can, but they do need to get some points on the board. As the timer is ticking, it's something that I always like to tell the casters. You can't waste too much time here. They're starting to get picks off. 49ers going to try to go behind and upset their hold, but it looks like they're just not going to be able to. Still, once again, getting players in, throwing that hammer, getting a pick, but not just able to advance far enough. There we go, finally. Got a Kraken up on their bats there. Or is it the Kraken up? I don't know. But also the Inkjet up there is going to shake things up a little bit. They are able to push all the way down to 48 points. So definitely a pretty solid lead here, and they still have control of mid. It's not like last time where Z-tier players was completely knocked out. We're seeing a very different game than we were before. It looks like really Z-tier players, their defense is strong. They were able to hold Overseer back for quite a while, but just not strong enough, and they may have a little bit of a difficult time overtaking, kind of taking back the enemy's flag here. 49er coming up, trying to break into their, up on their ramp again. We do see that Kraken really gonna try to get all up in their business, really trying to upset things. Pushing for a pick, they do get it. We don't really have any clams on the board though. It's a little bit of chaos. We're still kind of in a setup period. Oh, I lied. Super clam. And with a crab tank at the ready, it looks like if they are able to get the claim in, which they're able to, there you go.
Yeah, there is that tower clam coming in for Z-tier players. They are going to be looking to get a little bit more out of this push if they can. Having been at 71 remaining, they have a ways to go, but they are able to get far enough to take the lead just about.
Yeah, I'm Overseer. I'm a little bit frustrated. A 48 lead is not secure at any point, or by any means, but it's still such a far lead that just getting upset by 3 points can be pretty frustrating. We are going, like, if these guys don't get pushed pretty soon, it looks like we might be playing in overtime. Very strong clam economy from these guys. They got 3 power clams on the board. Really good specials as well, but we saw before, Z-tier players' defense can be pretty strong. Looks like the main thing that's going to be stopping them, though, is this player in the Kraken, and they are going to be camping these clams, but is it going to be enough? Is Z-tier players going to respawn in time to have their defense set up and prevent the clams from going in? Triggering overtime and probably getting a lead. It's just 1 clam, 1 super clam, and 1 normal clam for them to get one. Here we go, super clam in, that's going to be 2. That is going to be a lead. I can't remember the current rules. Is that a game? It's not a game, so overtime. Oh, is it? I don't know. I'm out of the game. I can't remember how clam overtime rules is. It's really complicated.
Oh yeah, Z-tier players do have the lead, but no. Oh, they had the lead, but no, they were unable to hold on to it. Overseer, managing to take that game away and evening up the set here at 1-1.
Yeah, like I mentioned, very, very different game than the first one. That first Zones game, a complete Z-tier player domination. Sure. Second one, it was definitely a little bit more back and forth. 1 or 2 different lead swaps. We saw the clan Z-tier players was able to make a very good push, just not able to maintain it for that long, but their defense was excellent. So as we move into tower control, a little bit more aggressive game mode, a little bit more, I mean, obviously a little bit more linear. Clan Blitz is just about the least linear you can get in this game. But it's definitely, I'm not, you know, sometimes I have a good inkling of, well, kind of an inclination of where a game is gonna go. Here it's a little bit more difficult just because we've seen a few different sides of these teams so far. Do you have any opinions on how you think this is gonna go?
Hard to say. Just judging from the map and mode on Game 3, that is going to be tower control on Mako Mart. And it's going to be interesting to see that with 3 players on Z-tier players having weapons that can thrive with those very constrained sight lines and very tight, narrow choke points and narrow pathways. In particular, 49er on that Octobrush is going to be able to get a lot of done if they're able to get into the positions to thrive with that weapon. But on the other hand, I don't know if Mako Mart is quite as strong as other maps for the Snipe Rider in particular. So if Ren has to switch off of Pencil onto the heavy edit Splatling or something else that can provide tacticalers for the team in a similar role, similar position in general, that may not be quite the strongest for Z-tier players here.
Yeah, we will definitely see how it goes. Looks like Ren is going to stay on that Snipe Rider. Wings, of course, staying on their signature bow over there. Sticking with the Dynamo, sticking with pretty similar comps out here from what I can see. 49 are back on the brush, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that Tri-Stringer and Dynamo Roller combo is one that, yeah, it's very popular, is one that has been seeing a lot of experimentation, a lot of use, especially at high-level play throughout the Western scene. But we're going to see if they can use those to the best of their ability and make the most of the potential of that weapon combination in this game here.
Super early on, Overseer has already broken that first checkpoint, but we're still putting up a fight here in mid, going to be able to push them out, get it back in the mid, get a little bit back more neutral. 49er here, like you mentioned, causing a lot of chaos behind before getting taken out by the Dynamo. But that, and they're looking behind them, they're not looking forward, but the Dynamo is going to be able to move forward here, having a little bit of a fight on the enemy team. They are taking a whole lot of space. Looks like ZG Players is going to be able to get a first push out here, potentially. It's kind of hard to know what's going on here. A lot of players are behind each other, which is something that's really fun to see with Mako Mart. Brush gets a double. Brush gets a wipeout from what I could see. So, Overseer back on the up and up. Going to be taking a whole lot of space. They're probably going to be going for that second checkpoint here. Already going to be getting score points on the board. We'll see how Z-tier players responds.
Yeah, Z-tier players are, this is Overseer right here in the green ink, looking to get that tower stopped. Z-tier players pushing it well past the first checkpoint. There's quite a long ways between the first and second checkpoint though, and so Z-tier players still had quite a ways to go before getting it to the second one, and it is some low ground that is very exposed if the defending team is able to put their fire on it. And there's no tools really to defend the tower very much. The most that Z-tier players really could have to tank damage there in terms of their specials is a crab tank. A crab tank and a kraken. If either one riding the tower would be able to tank the damage that Overseer would want to put on it. But on the other hand, they can also use it a bit offensively and threaten the tower, forcing Overseer to back off of it right there at 78 remaining before it's able to get through the first checkpoint.
Yeah, completely denied, and it looks like they've kind of lost a bit of their advantage as Z-tier players is going to be able to push them forward. Let it be known, I love seeing all this tank gameplay, all this Dynamo gameplay. Super, super fun to watch as they're going to be using it to push back in. Look at like they're making a second go at this checkpoint here. Booyah Bomb at the ready, just holding it, just using that pressure to hold them back a little bit because nobody wants to get caught in that. And then following up with the Inkjet to try to keep them further out. They are going to make it past that checkpoint. At what cost though? They are 3 down at this point. It looks like the last player is going to be jumping out. Right here, Z-tier player, Z-tier player, so I'm getting my colors mixed up. Z-tier player is going to be able to move back in, and I love watching this rush also. I'm having a great time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is fantastic. 49er there, able to do a fantastic job with that rush, making the most of it, getting into all the places that Overseer does not want them to be in, and able to just punish any kind of wrong positioning, any missed, and any little positioning mistakes. If 49er can get into a spot to take them out, 49er will do it. But the scores are pretty close here with 1 minute left to go. New England still holding on to a narrow lead, and if either team is able to really get a push going, they can take the lead in the case of Overseer, or extend it if it's C-tier players.
Frantic scramble here for the lead. We are going to be able to make it with just a little bit of a tap on the tower, and now we're running for our lives because we want to be able to hold against the potential push that is coming out from New England, who are probably pretty upset about the fact that they're probably going to have to make a overtime push. Right here, Overseer just needs to remain calm, get all the resources at the ready, but looks like you're really approaching this lead. Are they able to make it, or are we going to throw everything that we have on the tower to stop them? Oh, it's right there. Oh, I saw it flip. Oh, wow. Going to be going to overtime? No, we're not. That is going to be game 2 for Z-tier players. That was a very, very hectic ending there. Almost there. Almost at the win. Not quite, though. Or, sorry, that's Overseer. Nope. Wait.
Yeah,
I don't know my colors.
No, it's fair, it's fair. Yeah, that was a relatively low-scoring game. Both teams doing a good job throughout the game of being able to prevent the tower from even getting to that second checkpoint. And so that is, yeah, that win for Overseer at the end, though, was crucial for them. Having dropped the first game, Z-tier players are now once again down 2-1, and they were in the situation before in the first round. They were able they were in fact down 2-0, and they took 2 games on the bounce to bring it to a game 5. But Z-tier players once again finding themselves down 2-1, they will once again have to come back from behind, and this time win a third game in the set to close it out.
Yeah, after that first game, the confidence shake definitely could be putting into play. Thinking that you're going to go in, not necessarily thinking it's going to be easy, but think you're going to have a pretty solid advantage after that first game. Then getting a much closer game, and then getting an even closer game. It would make me nervous. Here on Maker Museum, based on these team comps, do you think either of them is going to have an advantage, or based on how we've been seeing them play?
Hard to say, but with the psychology of this map, I would say it's one where it can be hard to make a substantial push. Like the kinds of scoring that we saw in the last game, where up until the end it was all very, very neutral, very high potential to swing wildly in one way or the other, very, very uncertain. That is something that I would more expect out of Museum. I would expect it to be less likely for one team to make a strong push early on. But if they can get to a formidable lead, then that is something that can hang over the entire rest of the game heavily, and it can make it very difficult for the team coming from behind to assemble a push of their own.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Are we going to see any major team comp changes? Doesn't really look like it from the side of Z-tier players. See, I do know my colors. I can read now. I don't believe we see anything super different here from the side of Overseer as well. So coming in, very familiar team comps. We're going to see how this goes with a little bit more of a volatile mode, just like you said. Looks like Overseer is going to be getting the pop, but we're still going to see a whole lot of scrabbling. Not any picks yet here, super out of the gate, as we're just looking for pressure, kind of easing around each other, not making any super flawed moves either way.
Yeah, each team kind of putting down more ink, putting control of the territory towards the left, but as the specials do start to come out, there's that tactical alert from Overseer. Neither team taking the Rainmaker at first, but then it does get picked up, and it gets broken. The checkpoint gets broken by Z-tier players, are able to just get over that initial jump, and even though 49er goes down carrying the Rainmaker on the checkpoint, well, it goes down after putting the Rainmaker on the checkpoint, having that initial push successful in that way is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. We do see Overseer recover super quickly, though. They played very, very conservatively there as the players was getting the checkpoint. They jumped back as soon as they saw a threat. They knew that if they went down, it'd be a whole lot worse than if they just jumped back. As you know, ZT players are pretty likely to get that checkpoint regardless. So now they give themselves a little bit of a better situation. They got their specials. They have them at the ready, or had them at the ready. They got that first checkpoint, and now they're in a position not only to get that first checkpoint, but to hold it, which is something that Z2 players are not quite able to get. So we're seeing they're going to be able to advance a little bit further.
And one thing that was impressive to me was that play from Bounce, using that Kraken in combination with the tactical cooler from the Dynamo Roller belonging to Tenor. That was enough to get the rest of the team in and just be able to extend the entire team fight even after going 3 down in that situation. And that gave Overseer a huge opportunity to just continue this, maybe even get a little bit further with the Rainmaker if they can, if they don't let it reset. However, it does reset, but even as that happens, they're still making their presence on Z-tier players' plat, on that spinner and around it, using their specials to hold that space and give them the room to move forward if they have the Rainmaker.
Yeah, that was a very, like 20 seconds ago now, that was a very well-placed trap that just held Overseer at bay and allowed them to move super far in. They are pretty far in the lead now, well, pretty far, like 2 feet on this map, or an any Rainmaker map. But that is certainly a lead. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them. You know, every single point counts. It'll be a little bit more difficult for them to make it last time. But Z-tier players still holding mid, still holding a lot of pressure, using that Zuka to just keep trying to make openings for themselves. They're not satisfied with that. Absolutely, it's not over until you get a knockout.
Yeah, not at all. Even though, with every point scored, the Rainmaker obviously does have to move further and further into the other side of the map, the other team's base, in order to extend the lead. And on just about no other map than Museum is that the case. I would say maybe on Scorched Gorge as well you feel that, but here it's one where it feels like an absolute slog, an absolute expedition to get the Rainmaker all the way off of your own plat with the enemy team firing at it all the way onto the other, and then to get it further to the goal. It's very difficult then to get it around that 35-point mark.
Yeah. This is super, super scrappy right here. We're just seeing picks left and right, not a whole lot of ground gained or a whole lot of ground lost. Now we are holding the Rainmaker in the corner. We're going to probably get picked off by the bow, but we're just going to hold it here as long as we can, finally get knocked out. With the Rainmaker being reset there, giving Overseer another chance, a little bit closer, a little bit easier for them to try and get another rebound pick, but we're all over the place right now. Very aggressive stand position. They're going to be throwing their Booyah Bomb out, trying to disrupt them, trying to make some opening for the team. Neptune is behind them in mid, trying to get picks, but it looks like they do go down. Looks like Overseer does have the Rainmaker again. Probably going to be the last push of the game. Don't really see it, like, if they lose it, in terms of if they're able to keep going from last. They do have another shot here, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was quite a long stall from Z-tier players that was going, but with a lot of space to move in, Overseer have absolutely the potential to take this game here and now. They have their team in strong position, but it might not be enough with only a few seconds left.
Yeah, with everyone but the 96 down, it's not over yet. We do have a lot of jumps in, but it's going to be very, very rough. Looks like it is going to be a game. If I got my colors and I can read correctly, it looks like Z-tier players are going to be evening it out 2-2.
Yeah, and once again taking it to a Game 5. They weren't able to close it out the first time they were in a Game 5, but one potential difference here is that this time around, Game 1, also zones, they took this time, and as opposed to in their first set, they did not take the first game being zones. So if they are consistent, if the performance on that mode is anything to go by, I would consider Z-tier players to have the upper hand here going into Game 5. But of course, we have seen 4 games against these two teams. It's been a fairly closely matched set overall. Of course it has, going to Game 5 like this, but I think that this is something that Z-tier players could absolutely make their own.
Yeah, if you had told me that this set would be this close at the very, very beginning of this set, I don't know if I would have believed you. I mean, obviously anything can happen, but it's just not something I would have expected given Z-tier players' super strong performance with that first game. Like you were saying, the vibes here are pretty similar in terms of just the mode overall, but I also feel like Hacklefish plays decently similar to Ship Shape. At least they're not the most drastically different zones maps out there, so if it's anything to go by, maybe Overseer has gained some confidence from their pretty tight wins there, but we are at game 5. This is going to be tense. This is match point and tournament point for whichever team decides to, doesn't decide to lose. Whichever team loses, they're out. So this is their final game for one of these teams, and final chance to make it on further into their losers run.
Yeah, absolutely. This is now or never. It is do or die. This is the one last chance that these teams have to stay alive in the tournament. This is the losers bracket, and impressive stuff for these teams, like making it to a game 5. In fact, 2 game 5s, I believe, for both of these teams. So either way, they'll have 10 games under their belt here, but they will want to keep it going. They will want to win this game and make it into round 2 of the losers bracket.
We do see a slight change here. PETA is going to be on the Wiper instead of on the Stamper here, so slight difference in team comp. Not a whole lot different other than that, if I remember. I know, yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, I have a memory of Goldfish, so I don't really know what's going on ever. But it looks like we're going to see a pretty strong start from both of these teams here. Pushing really, really far in the mid, trying to get anything that they can. Once they get a hold, who knows what's going to happen after that. Still no picks. We do see that Inkjet coming out. There we go. First pick of the game goes to Overseer. There is Z-tier players is down by 2 right now.
Yeah, that is a huge swing after 30 seconds of skirmishing for the zone. The Overseer team are able to win that initial fight convincingly, with 2 going down on the side of Z-tier players, and that tactical rebuff for Overseer, giving them the room to move in like that, with PETA over on the left side, and with Bounce using that Kraken to move in. They are really wanting to play aggressive here and keep Z-tier players back as far away from the zone as possible, and as far of a position where they cannot actually put down paint on it. And if Overseer can hold on to that kind of position for long enough, and especially if they can keep getting more picks here without losing too many of their own, even a trade that doesn't really move the line of battle here would be enough. But they do only manage to get to 22 remaining, which is still quite a good ways forward. But Z-tier players are able to break out of that lockout and get into mid.
Doesn't last a whole lot, considering that Overseer is able to flip the zone and apply a little bit of penalty to the put in there. But that doesn't mean a whole lot. Well, not necessarily. Overseer is going to go 2 down, so that was kind of just a short-lived little roadblock here as they're going to continue holding on. They are in a precarious situation with 2 players down the team. That doesn't seem to be bothering them too much. They are still going to be able to hold. They are advancing their points. They're approaching 60 points at this point, and still getting picks on the board. Still getting a pretty strong hold here despite all the carnage that's going on at mid. Down to almost 50 points here as the zone is finally getting contested again.
Yeah, it looked a little bit dicey potentially for Z-tier players, having to earlier fall back and deal with a flank as they had first taken that control for that more significant push of theirs. But having the rest of the team jumping in to Storm for a team fight has been a benefit to them in this fight to hold on to the zone.
Yeah, it was looking very precariously for Z-tier players at the very beginning of this match. Now, it looks like they are holding on pretty strong. Very good pick, Zuka pick there from Storm. They're going to go for another one there. Not going to be able to find it with the players hanging out on flat, but they're pretty strongly walled in at this point. The tables have turned. We are going to see, as the Krakens go out, as all the specials go out, it's going to be a little bit of chaos here, and will ZT players kind of remain on top after the carnage? It looks like they almost are going to get lead here. 22 points, and that is a lead for them. Only about 10 seconds left on the board, if that would be, if Overseer did not reset the zone.
Yeah, those points could prove to be crucial here for Z-tier players. They have taken the lead, and they have swung it into their favor. If that lead were to stay, then they would be taking this set, and they are going to be doing everything they can to prevent Overseer from putting on the kind of lockout that they had early on in the match. If either team is able to hold such a strong position for a significant amount of time, then that would be enough to get them to a knockout here. With the 49er diving in on the Kraken, not able to get a whole lot done there until Storm comes in to help out, especially with the Dynamo Roller going down and no Tacticooler for Overseer for the foreseeable future. That could be a huge problem for them, especially as more players on Overseer have gone down in addition.
Less than a minute left on the board, 9 seconds remaining on that zone. Overseer going to throw everything that they have onto it, but that is going to be a Z-tier player's victory. Pulling it out 3-2 within the last few minutes of that game. It was looking dicey for them at the start, but they managed to pull it out, I'm sure to your delight.
Yes, that's my local team. Those are the players I saw in person just a couple weeks ago at New England 6, and they are still in this tournament. They are going to be moving on into the second round of the losers bracket.
I do absolutely think that Overseer should be really proud of how they played. Z-tier players are some incredibly strong players with a lot of experience under their belt, including playing together. As you mentioned, this is their second LAN Champion Showdown run, so they've been playing together for quite a while. This isn't their first rodeo, so I'm incredibly excited that Z-tier players is moving on further in the losers bracket. But if you are Overseer, I would not be too sad, because that was an amazing match that we just had.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty incredible watching yet another Game 5. We have had so many of those already to this point tonight, and it is awesome to see such close, even matches between the teams all across the US and Canada here at the LAN Championship Showdown.
Yeah. Looks like Z-tier players next will be going up against We Ain't Practicing, I believe. Is that correct? Hold on, yes, I was looking at a different screen. Yes, so that is C Battle's team. So it's going to be the Battle of the Northeast versus the Battle of the Northwest there. So super interesting.
Yeah, very exciting here. As we are going to be moving on into that set, it looks like they just finished out that set 3-1 for We Aren't Practicing. And so these two teams will be facing off here with We Aren't Practicing, just like Z-tier players, dropping down into the losers bracket after a first round loss 3-2. Interestingly, both of these teams, both Z-tier players and We Aren't Practicing, lost 3-2 in the first round. And then in the start of losers bracket, they beat the team that beat the other one. So
that's a fun little storyline.
Just going by the results so far, Z-tier players beat Overseer. Overseer beat We Aren't Practicing. We Aren't Practicing beat 7.8 out of 10, and 7.8 out of 10 beat Z-tier players. So it's going to be anyone's guess as to how this goes. And 3 of those matches were 3-2, one of them 3-1. Anything can happen at this point. But I would not be surprised by a Game 5. I would also I would also not be surprised by a 3-0, because even 3 close games can all turn out in one team's favor. But since we are still waiting on the other side of the bracket before we move on to the next round, we gotta give the rest of the bracket time to catch up. We don't want to get too far ahead. We have yet another Game 5 here going on between Deep Fried Chuds and Synchronize on the other side of losers bracket.
Yeah, looking at this, there are so many Game 5s. I mean, obviously there have been, so like Gravity versus Overseer, Super G versus Too Much Ink, Shark and Dairy Queen check. They've been 3-0s. Other than there have been a few 3-0s, but I'm seeing a lot of 3-2s. I'm seeing a lot of 3-1s. So that just is very exciting. All these players are, probably some of the best in their region. So putting up against each other is bound to produce some very fun, very intense matches. That being said, but I'm very excited that Gatorland has made it as far as they can. Of course, they are up against Gravity. Very, very difficult team to face up against. But I'm very proud of them. That's my team. Gatorland represent all the way from, Battle of the East Coast. But yeah, our team, My Little Henlo, were the victors last year. So I don't know how it's going to go this year. But I do know that they've given us a pretty good show so far, making it all the way to round 3 of winners.
Yeah, they did, of course, get that first round by being one of the top 4 seeds. Super G being considered as the 4th strongest team of the LAN Championship Showdown. Got that first round by and showed why they got it, as all 4 of the top 4 teams did manage to move on into the winners semifinals. Anywhere from 3-0 for Gravity and Super G to that 3-2 win by BBQ Pork Jambalaya over Shark. But now in the winner's side of the bracket, we have the top 4 teams all facing off against one another. But Gravity, representing the Big Dapple, are by far considered to be the top seed, the biggest chance of winning this whole event, having such strong, such accomplished players on their roster. 3 of the 4 of them being on Milky Way, who just yesterday won the latest round of the Splatoon North American League, officially run by Nintendo. And then their 4th being another long time top level powerhouse, top level player who's been there for a long time. The word isn't coming to my mind.
Yeah, I can't think of a word either.
Top level establishment, really.
Super G also has some challenges. Not all 4 of them that were able to win Gatorland were able to participate, and then their sub, Dat Kid, was not able to play tonight, so they were working with somebody new, who they may or may not have had the chance to practice with. It's one of the players from a different team who was at the event, but I mean, they're all players that mostly know each other, and clearly they were chosen, so they do go 2-0, so they're going to be kind of fighting for their lives there in the last one. We'll see if they're able to make it down to winners finals. If not, I'm still absolutely happy that we were able to make it so far. Super exciting just to see all these players from all these events. I'm sure every single caster has been talking, same few points, but just because it's something that we're all very passionate about. With seeing people from our events prosper, have a good time, represent each other, have these little fun rivalries between our different lands. Gatorland has not really had a chance to form any rivalries with any others. We're kind of our own little thing here in the Southeast, but we're starting to get some other lands down here. Our closest one is now Don't Flounder at the Function. I'm super happy to see them up and running, but so many more lands starting. We'll see if we're able to get any closer with a little bit more overlap of players.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised not to see too much of a local scene yet so far in the Atlanta, Georgia area, as they do have MomoCon as one of the biggest major Splatoon events throughout the year. It's not quite up there with the likes of Riptide, but MomoCon is really starting to take off as a kind of an alternative around the same time of year that Low Tide City had been in the past. And so if that kind of attention is able to spur a local scene in the Atlanta, Georgia area, then you folks at Gatorland would definitely have closer company. But I believe there also is just a little slightly further away. There is one in Arkansas, if I remember seeing on social media, a local that showed up there.
We've had people show up from California. We've had people show up from Atlanta. We've had people from all over the country show up to our event, which is super cool. So it's really neat. I was obviously I'm not actually upset. But I was, we used to be able to claim that Gatorland was the largest Splatoon LAN in the Southeast because it was. We cap out usually around 17 or 18 players, and MomoCon last year beat us by like 2 teams. So I was like, can't say that anymore. Even with that major event. But we are one of the larger LANs, which is super cool. We draw on a lot of players, a lot of collegiate, because the Florida collegiate scene is absolutely insane. A lot of very talented players, but just a lot of different teams from all of our different colleges that we have here in Florida really always show up. A lot of the colleges, like FSU, USF, UCF, have like 2 or 3 teams. So about half of our player base in name is like in showing up specifically as their school is usually college teams. And then you have other college players who just weren't able to make their full team, or like their full team wasn't able to make it, able to come. So we're a very young scene, a lot of college players who are coming in with their jerseys on. It's a whole lot of fun. And we're also
awesome.
We're a free event that happens on a college campus. So definitely our collegiate scene is super, super important to us here in Florida.
Yeah, at New England as well, there is a regular presence of college players from WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, who sometimes they play as their actual CCA teams, their actual teams in the Collegiate Cephalopod Alliance. But sometimes they just have they mix it up a little bit. They combine their teams for New England in particular. But in addition to having the younger side with the collegiate teams, and even as well as some high school age players at New England, we also have a crowd from the Day Old Sushi community, which is a community for players over the age of 25, I believe, and they're not they haven't been to every single New England, but there is a fairly consistent presence of a Day Old Sushi team at New England.
That's really sweet. I love that. We have a high school, like an actual high school esports team. I think they do the Play Versus tournament that has shown up before for Windermere High School, and that was really cool to see. Unfortunately, they weren't able to stay for the full time because the time that they did come, it was we had a lot of technical difficulties, and we ran really late, and they came like as a school event, so they were not able to stay until like 10 o'clock. Driving from Windermere, Florida, which is near Orlando, which is 2 hours away from Gainesville. So,
yeah, that's understandable that a high school team would have to would have to leave a little on the earlier side, but it's really cool that the high school teams and players are involved in the competitive scene, especially the organized teams. It's really cool, like, to give students an opportunity to really see and participate in something like this.
Yeah. It looks like our next match is ready. We're going to be seeing Synchronize versus Shark. That's Booyah Bay versus Toronto Roca, which is just about as far, well, you get a little bit further, but they're very geographically very, very far from each other. They're in different countries. So that's like super exciting to see. Once again, well, I would know if I would consider Toronto East Coast. Kinda, relatively, versus San Jose, California.
Yeah, I think Toronto isn't really so much East Coast as it is just Great Lakes region.
East. Yeah.
Yeah, it's eastern half of the continent, but I think hard to tell just based on the map, but I think the Seattle and New England teams might be geographically a little bit further apart than San Jose and Toronto, but Booyah Bay Team Shark versus Synchronize from Toronto Roca, they are going to be playing here in Losers Round 2.
Yeah, seeing who they were knocked out by, let's see, hold on. Maybe I should have seen this before. So, Synchronize is from round 1 versus, so, hold on. I can't think. Okay, locked in. Synchronize but was actually locked out. This is the rematch. Synchronize was knocked out by Shark, and then Shark was knocked out by Barbecue Pork. So this is a little bit of a rematch. We'll see if they're going to be able to turn it back around. Yeah. Excited. It was a 3-2, so...
Yeah, it was a 3-2. This went to Game 5, the first time that these two teams played in Round 1. You see on the top half, in the winner's bracket, first round, the third row, the third match there, you have Shark taking the 3-2 over Synchronize before losing themselves in a 3-2 to Barbecue Pork and Jambalaya. These teams from Booyah Bay and Toronto Roca both dropping you down into the loser's bracket. But the team from Booyah Bay, being Shark, they had a 3-0 win over... Shark had a 3-0 win over Dairy Queen check there.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a little bit of wins, a little bit of losses. How we're feeling is kind of indeterminate. I will say, really interesting team comp for me on Shark, because I'm going to be rooting for them because these guys used to play for Gatorland before, like Luna in particular actually won Gatorland a few years ago. So before they moved away, I believe they actually, Goose, 5th Gen, and Luna actually, after they moved away, flew back to play in Gatorland. So super excited to see these guys. I'm hoping they're doing well. I hope they have a good losers run here because they're players that are familiar to me. I've seen them quite around quite a bit.
Yeah, well, for your sake, it would be great to see them win. But of course, we will see them certainly put up one heck of a fight here against Synchronize. Of course, you don't know if these teams have figured a little something out here, but with Synchronize also having played a longer set recently. However, Shark have played more games overall. They've been playing just about nonstop because Synchronize actually did have that time during the winners round 2 while they were waiting for the losers bracket to be ready. And Shark, on the other hand, are completely playing through. So to be honest, Shark might be a little bit starting to show signs of fatigue, if that is something that is going to affect them, because they have been playing relatively constantly, whereas Synchronize, not only did they have a small break while waiting for the losers bracket to fill out, they also have had a set since then, so they aren't going to be a little bit rusty from having that bye or that round off right before.
Yeah, so they're, like you're saying, definitely a little bit of a balance of being warmed up versus getting too tired. So I'm definitely interested to see if that's something that'll affect them. Of course, if there's a huge difference in skill here, that wouldn't necessarily be a super big game changer, but these teams seem to be fairly close in skill considering that first match that they had where they were super closely matched. We are going to be starting here on Umami Ruins, specifically Splat Zones, which is something that's very exciting to me. It's one of my favorite maps. Split Zones maps are a pain, but they're also very interesting to see, and I believe we might see a tent umbrella here from Shark, and I feel like that has some fun interactions with how teeny tiny the zone is.
Yeah, that's another real thing to really consider about Split Zones maps like Umami Ruins. The zones are smaller and narrower because there are 2 of them, and so having something like a tent umbrella that can just about cover an entire one of the 2 zones, if you have that tent on your team, that can really have an outsized influence in that kind of mid fights for the zone.
Okay, well, clearly, oh, wow. We see some very interesting comps out here, which, of course, my term for interesting is about 2 years outdated, considering I have not been keeping up with the scene outside of running my tournament for that long. But these, if you showed me this to me 2 years ago, I think it was an open match, basically. I love these comps. I'm really excited to see how this plays. Double roller, splatling bucket, super exciting. We'll see who gets the initial zone cap here. It looks like we might be leaning towards the side of Shark, especially as they pop these specials. We're moving forward a little bit. But Toronto Roca still putting up a good fight. A good fight. It is going to be Synchronized getting that first pick, or not first pick, first cap. I can't speak.
Yeah. Synchronize with the purple ink versus Shark in the yellow. Synchronize have that heavy splatling up on top mid, using that Tacticooler from the Tri-Slosher Nouveau. Very interestingly, we have two relatively uncommon Tacticooler providers, an NZAP on the side of Shark and a Tri-Slosher Nouveau on Synchronize. And it's Synchronized who are able to hold onto the zone at first, getting 20 points there, continuing to hold the zone for a little longer.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, clearly they are already familiar with how each other play, because they have this really nice stally thing going on for them, although Buyabe is going to be pushed back a little bit. We're going to be just trying to get our specials up already just to be able to make a little bit of a rebound push. Already got that Zuka out, everyone else ticking up and up. Zuka is going to get popped out, searching for a pick. Doesn't seem like it's going to be able to find one, but they are slowly starting to just take control back. Of course, Toronto Roca is going to be popping out their specials as well, really holding on. We're at about 60 points, but Devil Zones map. Capture goes like the wind. It's easy breezy to get it kind of flip back over again in terms of just making it stall.
Yeah, you can easily capture one zone, but getting both together is a different story. Both teams having projectiles firing all the way across the map, an impact from one and a Trizuka from the Carbon Roller of Nigel on the other on Synchronize. And both teams fighting for both sides of the zone, but especially with that Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, with that player going down, that might have caused a bit of problems, but Shark are still able to take both zones, at least for a little bit of a moment, in order to give Synchronize that penalty.
Yeah, we are still taking down, having a really strong hold here. Cooler coming out is going to just kind of reinforce that that Carbon Roller is able to get a pick. Buyabe down to one player, and with only about 15 seconds left until the game is over, they gotta kind of cook something up fast. Of course, that one last player that was alive getting pushed back into the corner. We are hanging out in the pit here, really trying to just get anything that we can, just put some paint on the zone and make it a stall. They are 2 down as we're going into the last potential seconds of this game. Only the Heavy left alive, though. They're in a kind of precarious spot. They don't get picked off, but they might have to take us a little bit of a step back. Shark is finally going to be able to recapture that zone.
Yeah, and at just the moment they needed it to, with less than 10 remaining on that countdown, and less than 2 minutes left in the game, Shark taking that, getting through their very short penalty, and even though there is quite a bit of purple ink on one of the zones, as you can see from that icon at the top, it quickly goes to neutral, and that stops the Shark for a moment from getting more points, and every point matters. Every little 0.6 of a second that you have the zone will give you another point and get you closer to the lead, especially when we're getting those trades there, players going down on both teams. Even with that tactic cooler, it is going to take time to get back in, and so Shark are getting every point they can out of this control that they've got.
Yeah, now that they finally have a hold, it's going to be pretty difficult to let them go, especially as we have base specials going out. There's going to be a lead. Only a few more seconds until we see the game. Just a little bit of ink would stop it, and it's going to go out of control, in control, and that's game 1, going to Shark from Buyabe. Very, very contentious game. Did not, the beginning of the game looked like Synchronize's game, but as time went on, Shark was finally able to get something going for them, and once they started, they could not get stopped.
Yeah, Shark taking that first game here, just as they did the first time these teams played against one another. But in that first set, Synchronize did come back to win games 2 and 3 before Shark closed it out. So now we will be moving to tower control on Shipshape Cargo Company, and this is certainly one that either team could take, of course. You could say that about any map, any map, any mode in this game. This is, I would consider this a toss-up between these two teams.
Welcome to Splatoon. One team or the other is gonna win. Welcome to any game and the history of mankind. One team is gonna win, one is gonna lose. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about this map in terms of like what really went well here. I do remember some of the checkpoints being a pain to get through. That is one thing I do remember, but in terms of actually knowing what's gonna win, or like what kind of team comps are gonna be favored here, I have no idea. My memory fails me.
Yeah, one thing that I think gets overlooked on Shipshape Cargo Company, in contrast with a lot of other tower control maps, this only has 2 checkpoints, not 3, for the tower. There was some time ago where several tower control maps were reworked. I think in particular, Barnacle and Dime was, and Brinewater Springs may have been too, where the tower path was changed and a 3rd checkpoint was added. And I think that makes a huge difference, because when you only have 2 checkpoints, getting through the first one and getting to the second goes through about a 1/3 of all the points available. So you can get 30 more points or so just in the blink of an eye once you make it through that first checkpoint. And it's a long checkpoint too, so that is really where these matches can be won and lost, if you're able to set up a push that gets you that first checkpoint, as well as keeps you alive long enough to get to the second one.
Yeah, we are no longer going to see the Dynamo. We are switching to the Splash Shot Pro with the missiles on it, so that's going to be super interesting to see. We are already out here painting for cooler, so we're leaving our team 1 down, but that doesn't seem to matter because they're still going to get picks regardless. That heavy spotlight going to be able to advance forward, putting an immense amount of pressure on their side of the field, making room for their Carbon to go in and continue. So it looks like we are seeing them kind of on the up and up, going to be able to get a little bit of a head start on getting some points down. So pretty strong start here from, their name fails me.
From Synchronize?
Yes, from Synchronize.
Yeah, we've got Synchronized here in the purple ink. They do get to the first checkpoint easy enough, but not able to get it really through at all. So Shark are the team that are going to be trying to do that. They have 2 of their specials to get there and 2 more coming out as they arrive with that Zuka and Tacticooler. They take the lead, no sweat, and are using everything they've got to push through that first checkpoint. But if that's what they need to do, that can set them up for a huge advantage later on in the game when on future pushes.
Yeah, just like last game, once Shark going, it was very difficult to stop them, and they still have a bit of control of mid, so we're going to see how good their defense game here, if they're going to be able to kind of make something out again. They have Cooler, they have a back going, they have a lot of their specials being popped, and they still have 2 specials on the board. I would 100% not be shocked if they're able to make something out of this again. Just need to get positioning, just get 1 or 2 picks, and they could be well on their way to a push. There's the Ford going down, and the Rocky goes down as well. 2-2. It's a bloodbath out here. Hard to see how this is gonna go.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here. Shark using all those specials once again to hold on to their top right and really kind of prevent Synchronize from getting anywhere near that checkpoint. Although, as soon I spoke too soon there. They were already at the checkpoint. Or I should say I spoke too late, but they got through that checkpoint now, and our Synchronized are going to be looking to take the lead here, because, like I said, this tower can move fast between the 2 checkpoints.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a win and a little bit of a lose. So they didn't give up control, but like you said, they did get that checkpoint. Not quite enough to get on the board, but it's still something that you are very excited to see if you are Toronto Roka there, or representing Toronto Roka there, Synchronized. They are getting more and more picks here. Shark is on them, so as Fiction is going to move in, this is a very annoying spot for a Blaster to be able to exert a lot of pressure, basically locking them out of that right side of the map unless they're really being able to push them out. Just getting really, really annoying. That is going to be a wipeout, but is it worth it? Because they got all the way down to 20 points. So unless Synchronized has to look for all of the space they can hold over here in order to have any chance of getting to the same point that Shark did and beyond. So we'll see how they're able to do in these last few minutes that we have.
Yeah, Shark here making that push partially through that first checkpoint, or second checkpoint I should say, to 20 remaining. It's a margin, it's a point that Shark could that Synchronized could absolutely reach if they're able to to push the tower. They're already getting past the score that they already got, and especially with 2 down going there on the Shark, then Synchronize are in a strong position here. They have that Zuka ready to go from over on the other side as Shark are looking. But with Shark using that Ink Bat, they might be able to stop the tower, get players on it, contest this tactic cooler. Can't get anyone quite fast enough to prevent them from taking it, but with Funny 2 going down here, the Tri-Slosher and the Heavy, that is going to be a big stop here for Shark. Ooh,
and a very unfortunate disconnect. Yeah, so pivotal moment. We're way past the point of being able to actually have any kind of effect on that. So no, it's pretty much, the Synchronize is looking pretty good. They're probably pretty happy about that. As unfortunate as it is, you always want it to be a fair fight, but that one last player going down basically guarantees this KO for Toronto Roca. Not how you want to see it go, but...
Yeah, these things can happen when playing Splatoon. This is something that we are well used to by now, but I wonder if an imperfect connection or any kind of internet issues might have played a role any earlier, because you never know if, even without that, whether Synchronize would have been able to win that game and make it through the rest of the way. But it's also a little disappointing to have that what if lingering. It's still a win. I would say both teams might consider it a bit of a mental cloud, or at least a bit of noise to consider. And it could certainly it could certainly affect them going into Game 3, and because these teams are so evenly matched, I think whichever team is able to let that pass by and let that aberration go into the past will be able to play at the level they need to win this game, play at that level throughout. It's Manta Maria, it's Rainmaker. They might need to play for 5 minutes, but this is one where I have seen a team score 99 points and then get knocked out multiple times.
Yeah, this is a crazy map. I will say, with the disconnect, at least it was in the side of the way that the momentum was already swinging. Like, I would be significantly more upset if Synchronize, one of their players, disconnected, because then it's definitely like, well, they were pushing it looked really strong, and then they disconnected, versus they're on the defense, they already weren't looking good, and then the disconnect made it worse. So, it is what it is. We're, moving on to Manta Maria. This is one of my favorite Rainmaker maps. I think it has the funniest certified Rainmaker moments. Dropping down that ledge and just making a mad dash for it is just some of the most fun you can have in this game, in my opinion. It's just, I love Rainmaker. I'm very biased towards Rainmaker for those very hype moments, especially as a caster. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, me too. One thing that I personally really like doing on this is taking the Rainmaker from the left check, jumping up onto the wall next to it and just walking forward there, because then you can drop down from an angle that is a lot less common to use, and if the other team isn't anticipating it, they might just not be ready for it, and you might have a clear angle and the opportunity to score a few more points a little bit faster if you go that left side.
I love weird little plays here. We are going to see a heavy on the side. Oh, there's that 10 I was so excited to see. So we see the no more heavy from Synchronize, trading it out for a heavy edit, but we do still have a heavy on the screen on the side of Shark. So that's a personal one that's close to my heart. And of course, the elephant room, we got a sploosh out here too. It's really fun.
Yeah, a sploosh running 3 names of swim speed, no less.
Oh my
God.
God.
Even bothering with stealth jump or ninja squid. I think Onion is going to be the designated Rainmaker carrier on Synchronize, having that fastest possible swim speed in the game, I would imagine, unless they're running not quite 9 subs of that swim speed. But if Onion is holding the Rainmaker, it is going to go faster than you can imagine.
I'm so excited for this match. I love these goofy comps. So much more exciting than when I was last seriously in the game where it was just the same 3 weapons the entire time. I'm having a great time so far. This is awesome. We do see Shark has a pretty solid control over mid, but that can change in a second as they're going to go in. Trying to take a little more space, not going to be quite able to eke it out, and so we might see Synchronize able to retaliate, take a little bit more up, as Funny Dude here on this heavy edit is going to be able to try and take a little more, not quite able to make a hold. It's a very slippery game here in mid so far, not anyone's able to really get a solid grip. Yet, as I speak, of course.
Of course, that's just how it happens. Yeah, it is possible to get to the checkpoints pretty quickly, but if the defending team, like Shark are here, are watching both checkpoints effectively, they can pretty easily stop the checkpoint from getting scored, especially because Synchronize don't really have a lot of tools to force Shark out of an area, something like Tri-Strikes or a Booyah Bomb, because they're actually running a double tactical bomb, something that should have been like setting off alarm bells. They have a Dynamo and an Edit. They have 2 tacticalers and a Sploosh running swim speed. They have a game plan, and they do not care who knows it.
That's awesome. I can't believe we didn't notice that. That is completely ridiculous. And it seems to be working for them so far. We're halfway through this match, and Shark doesn't actually have a single point on the board. Of course, they're getting popped, so they might be able to finally pick it up and just get a few points. Looks like they're waiting for a little bit better of an opportunity. Swagger over here trying to get some Zuko picks. They are going to be able to get the swoosh picked off. But we're going to see the cooler come out from the other team. Of course, looks like Shark has a game plan of their own. Going to be back intent and doing everything they can to get that check, but it's not quite going to be enough. Going to get picked off kind of through the tent shield there. But looks like Synchronize is going to be able to get a little more on their side here. Not quite able to make it past mid.
Yeah, I love seeing 2 different philosophies of how to approach Rainmaker. You've got a more widely known option of shield the Rainmaker with a tent umbrella and protect it from enemy fire with an ink back, or you can just say, whatever, let's just move it as fast as we possibly can. And at this point though, Shark, their patience has been enough as they are able to take the lead and take a significant lead. They only needed that one opportunity to get far enough forward, use the tools that they have to get the Rainmaker all the way down past that drop to the 28 remaining.
Yeah, Swagger running a crazy kill streak there about a minute ago, and now they are shielded. They're shielded Rainmaker. There's a 99-point lead that you're talking about. We'll see if we see the knockout there, but the pressure is on for Synchronize. Pretty solid showing from them at first. They were able to make a lot, but it might not even matter. They might get the knockout here if they're able to paint the tower. Just paint the tower, guys. We got it. Okay, that's there we go. Finally. That is going to be the knockout, putting Shark at 2-1. Crazy last few seconds there.
Yeah, we saw Dylan get Flow Aura. We saw that Zap player get Flow Aura, that being LZ. And the incredible back and forth fight there. Synchronize not quite having the opportunity to make that comeback, but because Shark finishing it out like that, once they were able to get the momentum on their side, Synchronize didn't really have the tools to stop them. They only had the tools to go with the Rainmaker. Go. But once the Rainmaker was going in the other direction, they were out of options.
Yeah, I love how messy Rainmaker can be sometimes. I know, or at least when I was a little bit more in the know, I know Rainmaker wasn't really preferred, the preferred competitive mode, but I think as a spectator, and definitely as a caster, it is so much fun, especially like with what we saw last time. The different philosophies that these teams had, it wasn't just, okay, here's their backline, and here's our Slayers, and we have our cooler player. They had like a certain game plan to try, not necessarily cheese, but just to have a little bit more of an edge to get through those checkpoints. So the tent with the vac to really help your Rainmaker player through and kind of wall your way through the checkpoints, versus the complete opposite philosophy, which did end up losing, of let's just have a super cracked out sploosh with 30 gallons of Tentacooler juice run through their veins.
Yum.
So yeah, I'm excited to see. We are going to clams, which is my second favorite mode as a spectator because of how much teamwork it needs and how much, like, just a crazy clam. Like, Clam Blitz a lot of the time does end up with those 20 points, 1 super clam, okay, a minute later, 1 super clam kind of pushes where it's not super heady, but a great clams push is super satisfying to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you can get over that initial hump of getting real control over the enemy basket and not just having a crack to slip through to score a single power clam before getting splatted, these pushes can really go hard.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see these team comps. It looks like we're a little bit less goofy this time around. We're turning to more traditional looking comps. We see the, not the Forge, is it called the Freeze? I can't remember. I'm out of it. Frozen! Yeah, we see the Frozen coming back out again, but we do see the tent return, or it worked last time, and it's going to be very useful in pushing up that ramp there to the basket.
Yeah, Clams is another mode where having the, having an ink back there, like that Vanilla Tent Umbrella has, can really give you a path towards scoring points. However, if that Tent Umbrella goes down very quickly at the start of the game, then it's not going to be quite as effective.
Synchronize here looks really, really good coming out the gate. Less than a minute in, we have a clams on the board, which is something that you see every day, which is super exciting. They're not going to be able to follow up on it, but they are setting the stage. They're setting the tone, the pace of the game. So Shark here looks like they're going to be responding just as quickly. They have a lot of clams on the board. They have their special boosters to get into position to be able to support their players as they are going to be pushing up this ramp. So we'll see if Shark is able to retaliate.
Yeah, Synchronize, like we said, that first push, if you go 2 down and you can't score any more off of it, it still leaves a lot of opportunity, and especially with an ink back like that, Shark easily able to take the lead there, and by a significant margin no less. They're not quite getting it down, at least not initially, to that 60-point margin that is a very significant one, but they are able to get a player in. It looks like potentially the Zap from the other side, who can maybe the Zap or the Splatter Shot from the other side, able to dive in, distract, split the attention, and get more clams into the basket there.
Yeah, Goose is there, also helping distract the Tent Umbrella, was breaking their ankles, frankly. Dodging them, staying alive, doing exactly what a tent does, and then able to follow up on that. But once again, Synchronize, they're wasting no time. They have enough for a super clam not on the board. They're passing the clams around each other. Their carbon is advancing, and they are going to get some more points on the board. Will they be able to follow up on this time? It looks a little unlikely. They got some coolers at the ready. They have once again, their carbon is coming right in. Who's going to get a double, absolute great kill streak for these guys. Moving it on further, not quite able to make it a triple, but do buy them enough time to get another super clam, and that's going to be a lead swap there.
Yeah, that is the kind of push that they wanted. It looked a little dicey at first, like they were just going to go 2 down for a single power claim once again, but they did manage to get more points this time around, and enough more points that gets them down to 35 remaining, which is good for a lead. And now if Shark want to take the lead back, they're going to need to score 28 plus 10, so 38 points. That is a power clam and 6 regular clams.
Yeah, which we do have quite a bit of time left. These teams have been wasting no time in terms of getting their pushes started. Not a whole lot of stalling, which is something that you always love to see in a Clam Blitz game. So it's still anyone's game. Once again, kind of stating the obvious here. Anything can happen within the last minute and a half, especially with these guys still kind of contesting over the mid. I think this is the longest we've gone this game without having like a really strong push going. That being said, Shark does go 3 down, which might pave the way for a little bit more purple on that.
Yeah, especially with Synchronized already holding on to a power clan in the hands of Dylan. They are bringing Onion and Funnydew over on the left side, splitting the attention of Shark once again, and giving them that opportunity to put the clam in the basket. They may or may not be able to get more in. They have Nigel coming in with extra clams that are enough for them to extend their lead by just a little bit, but it's only 2 more points, and that means it is a clean 40 points that Shark needs to take the lead here. And if they have the power clams that they pick up from under the basket, as well as the new one spawning in there.
So that's going to be another disconnect from Swagger, making it a little bit more difficult here for Briobe to be able to take it back. That's going to be 2 players going down. It looks like we might have a quick finish here as Synchronized is wasting no time in getting these clams out. Shark not going to be going out without a fight. It's not over until it's over. The odds are against them. With 1 point left on the board, there is a chance, however slight, that these guys, once they get into overtime, are going to be able to make it back. They are right here, right by the goal here. They do have that the Tenebella at the ready, who basically acts like a 4th player if you really think about it hard enough. Back out at the ready, they are going to be able to make it in, but we have to see a lot of follow-ups. It's not going to be easy for them. We'll see if they are able to make something happen here, make a miracle happen. We are still seeing clams on the board. These players are not going down. They're doing a fantastic job. We see them starting to need more clams. Is anyone left by the board? 1 player is going to start to go down. 2 points left on the board. Are we going to make able to make this final clam? And we do! Despite it going down, despite the overtime, despite everything against them, Shark manages to take the game, and if I believe correctly, that is going to be the set. That is absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic job, Shark, going on the board. Showing that even with the internet against them, even with that continental divide, making it probably a little bit worse than it could be. That's, wow. That's some fantastic playing.
I am in awe there. That was an incredible performance there from Shark. Holy moly, even despite going down to 1 point left, losing a player to a disconnect, they managed to hold on. They managed to keep themselves in it, and they closed out the set with a last-second jump with 1 more clam that they needed. Absolutely incredible, and what a way to finish off the coverage here from SplatoonTourney 4, from the 4th stream here tonight. We are going to be continuing in the tournament as Shark moves on, but as the teams are getting narrowed down, there will not be a need for 4 simultaneous sets, and so we will be shuffling back on over to the main SplatoonTourney channel.
Yeah, there is absolutely more where that came from. Next round, my favorite team, not Shark, well, they are fantastic. Super G is going to be going up against Shark next round. Like I said, no longer on Splatoon 4, but keep it tuned, because as these matches go on, the matches are going to just keep getting better and better. So stay tuned. But yeah, that's going to be it from us. Squidoku, where can the lovely people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky, where I am squidoku.bsky.social. And how about you, Weef?
You can find me on any of my socials. I'm either going to be Weef, so on Blue Sky, I am weef.bluesky.social. On any of my other socials, I'm just going to be WeefSlider, something like that. Yeah, that was the best way to end my night. Holy cow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you on the other SplatoonTourney channels.
Yeah, I know I'm going to be continuing to tune in, and I think I'll be watching it on YouTube. I also do want to give a shout out to the YouTube audience. We are simultaneously streaming, not just on the main SplatoonTourney channel, and it's for SplatoonTourney 1 through 4. We are also on YouTube with the 5, soon to be 3 streams on the SplatoonTourney YouTube channel.
Have a great rest of your night, guys.